Return Saturday.
The Rob Carson Show is presented by Chapter, Medicare Guidance Simplified.
You don't need to live with aches and pains. Visit relieffactor.com today.
You are about to hear the most interesting, informative, thought-provoking, and funny show in America. On air and on the World Wide Web. This is the Rob Carson Show.
This is the Rob Carson Show. Hello and welcome to a T-minus 1 day till Friday, baby. T-minus 1 day till Friday. Welcome to the show. Please come inside. We got a million things to get to today. I was just told by my producer, Brian, at WCBM, our anchor station in Baltimore, there will not be a Triple Crown winner this year because Golden Tempo, the winner of the Kentucky Derby, does not want to go to Baltimore for the Preakness. Afraid of getting horse-jacked, I think is what the name is. Which, depending on what part of the country you're in, could mean something completely different. I'm just going to tell you. But Golden Tempo is not going to be running again, I guess. And I think maybe it's because Golden Tempo is afraid of being shot in Baltimore. Or maybe eaten. I don't even know. I don't even know. Nothing against Baltimore. Just the people who run the damn city and the damn state. They suck. They're terrible. Anyway, a lot of things going on the show. I don't know if you knew this, but Donald Trump completely kicked some butt in Indiana. There were 7 Rhino Republicans up for re-election or to be primaried in the state Senate. 5 of them were destroyed by MAGA candidates because people are down with MAGA. I don't know if you knew this, but what you need to understand about MAGA Republicans isn't necessarily devotion to just Donald Trump. It's the principles of MAGA, which include a variety of things, including the fact that we have a president who sticks to the promises we asked him to make. He fulfills the campaign promises. He is gutting the deep state out of all of its filth. We recognize in him that he and his administration are the savior of the country going into its 250th year. And we know this because of all the things that the left has tried to throw at him, including trying to put him in jail, trying to take his fortune, trying to keep him off the ballot, raiding Mar-a-Lago, 2 faux impeachments, and 3 assassination attempts. Democrats keep running these headlines. Oh yeah, the MAGA base is leaving. The MAGA base is leaving. You believe that? You were not even. I don't even know. I don't even know there's enough weed that could make you this out of your mind that you would think that the MAGA base is leaving. Here is Harry Enton from CNN.
That the president still has juice, still has a lot of influence, and at least
no, he has the influence. There's no one else. Nikki Haley is done. Liz Cheney is done. Mitt Romney is done. Everyone who came before them in Rhino leadership in the National Republican Party is done. They're no longer relevant. They're going to have to start their own party. They're finished.
in Indiana.
Yeah.
So
as Indiana goes, so goes the nation when it comes to Republican voters and Donald John Trump. He absolutely still has the juice. And when you're a Republican and you go against Trump, you get voted off the island. I always love Survivor. And in this particular case, what we saw in Indiana was you go, adios, amigos, goodbye, see you later. And to me, that is emblematic of what we see.
Because we know he's doing a great job. And you know how we know he's doing a great job? Because 97% of the press coverage is negative. Everything, including the southern border being closed, including the gutting the government of massive waste, the enormously successful campaign against Iran, all of that. And the Democrat Party and the liberal media, the leftist media, say that it's bad. And then they cheer on things like assassination attempts. Do you understand now?
Nationwide with Republicans. I think there's this myth that's going on right now that, Trump is really losing support among Republicans.
It's not just a myth. It's wishful thinking. It's wishful thinking, like the Democrats wishing and hoping that we would lose in Iran. Really, they were. They were really hoping that we would lose in Iran, but we're not.
But compared to other midterm cycles, he's just as popular with Republicans as he has ever been at this point in midterm cycles. Right now, nationally, we're talking about an approval rating on average of 84%. In 2022, his popularity rating was 76%, actually lower.
It actually went up.
Right when he wasn't in the presidency.
You know why? Because he's totally kicking butt.
2018, the last time he was president, 85%. That 85 looks a whole heck of a lot like this 84% right here. The bottom line is this. Donald Trump still absolutely has juice with Republican voters. You saw it in Indiana, and I think that you'll see it down the line as well if any Republicans try and go against it.
100%, 1,000%, 1,000,000%. This is brand new from Jim Gossett.
We cleaned house in Indiana. Rhinos, they got beat.
We're not going anywhere, kids.
Opposed redistricting. They did everything to help Democrats keep their seats. We brought big change to Indiana. Moderate, no more.
No, not at all.
When I think about the wimps that were defeated, I consider what we have in store.
Mitt Romney wing of the party is
we
dead.
Sent shockwaves through Indiana.
Nikki Haley toast.
The Senate should take heed.
Get a clue, John Thune. You're next.
Listen up, John Thune.
Yeah.
Better change your tune. Disloyalty we don't need.
To the movement, not just the men.
Rhinos were purged in Indiana.
Yeah.
A message they should learn.
You'd think.
If you continue to betray your party, an Indiana-style defeat you'll earn.
100%. Tired of holding your nose and voting for people. We got really tired of holding our nose and voting for people, and then having people going to Washington, D.C. or state capitals everywhere and be a giant, what's the word I'm looking for? There's a slang word for kitty cat that starts with a P. Yeah, something like that. Something like that. The Marquis of Queensberry rules in an MMA fight. We're done with the nonsense. And honestly, the rest of us have toughened up through all of the things that have been thrown at us. It's just these elite, effete, blue blood country club Republicans who we hope that the party would gut from the party when Ronald Reagan was the president. Of course, that didn't happen, not one little bit. And it grew back with regard to George W. Bush and Mitt Romney and all of those folks. So they're going to have to learn a lesson from this. This is going to be happening the rest of this year through the midterms because America is back. We love our country. All of this woke nonsense is over. We see what we're up against, and all it has done is hardened our resolve to save the country. There you go. That's all you need to know. This is Chuck DeVore talking about the midterms, which are coming up. Of course, everybody's saying that the Democrats are going to win the midterms, and I got to tell you, every time I talk to anybody, you got to qualify when I say I think we're going to do well in the midterms. Well, Rob, we can't be too cautious. Well, no kidding. I just, Rush used to say when people call up saying, I love your show, love you, ditto, all right? So from now on, when we talk about how the midterms are coming up, and I'm hopeful that the midterms, let's just say ditto to, yes, of course we've got to be cautious. Yes, of course we've got to get out and all this. I hate this qualification crap. I really get tired of hearing it. It's like, do you have a rabbit's foot, a lucky rabbit's foot with you? You're rubbing that every time I say that I think we're going to midterms, you got to get that thing out. You got to do a sign of the cross and say, oh, you got to be da-da-da. Well, no kidding. We know this. We've been in battle for years. We've been in battle for years. When you've got World War II veterans who've been fighting for 4 years and they go to Omaha Beach and the generals there are saying, here's what we got to do and we got to resolve it. Yeah, dude, we've been doing this for 4 friggin' years. We know what we got to do. Just tell us where we need to go and we'll just kick some ass. There you go. That's what you got to remember. Just tell us where we need to go and we're going to kick some ass in the midterms. That's it. We are hardened veterans, aren't we? Yes, we are.
See, I don't see how they can, perhaps other than Senator Fetterman, who seems to be the last sane man in the Democratic caucus in Washington, D.C. They're just going to double down on all their crazy town stuff. Yeah. It's really amazing to see just how far they've gone. Look, Jesse, the economy...
It's a blessing, by the way, that they are nuts, that they've gone even further, nuts that they didn't learn anything from 2024. That's the great thing.
Is hitting on all cylinders now. When the price of gasoline begins to go back down to just probably a little bit above where it was when the war started.
Yep.
I think you're going to see a tremendous amount of economic activity that certainly the voters
But we can't be too cautious. We got it. Yeah, I know.
are going to see by the time the early ballots go out in October. So I'm still expecting that there's a pretty good chance the Republicans can keep the House and certainly the Senate.
Yeah, oh my God, you can't say that. You can't say we can't take anything for granted. We got to do this. Oh my God, I'm panic. Weep. Yes, we know. We know. We must be resolved. We're not going to relax. Trust me, we haven't been able to relax for 10 frickin' years. We haven't been able to lay back and go, oh, we've had to fight for every inch of territory, and we've done it through censorship and all of the things they did to Donald Trump. We've been through it all. It started way back with the Tea Party. Okay, we are veterans. We are hardened veterans, and we are dealing with little Marxists who are unarmed intellectually and physically. So we get it. We're in the middle of a war. We're not letting up. Here's a little more from Chuck DeVore. Donald Trump versus Biden's terrible presidency.
But let's go back just a few years. Look at President Biden. Look at what happened, the catastrophe in Kabul, followed by Putin invading Ukraine.
Crap touch.
Trump comes in, and it's like cleanup on aisles 2, 3, and 11.
Yeah, no kidding.
And so you have President Trump come in, Maduro's out,
Yeah.
the Chinese are out of the Panama Canal.
Yeah.
Cuba is almost Cuba Libre.
Yeah.
And, of course...
Yeah, Barbilla Jayapal is going around the president of the country to give them aid and support to our enemies. I'm hoping that she gets imprisoned for it.
We're blowing up the drug boats in the
They're fishing boats!
Caribbean and the Pacific, and we're starting to get into the narco political regime in Mexico.
I know.
So anyone that doesn't trust President Trump or doesn't give him the respect or the consideration that I think is due, given his track record, I think that they would be sorely mistaken.
Oh, I think you're right. And if you don't believe me, just refer to the audio that I played from Harry Enton a couple minutes ago. We aren't relaxing. We are not letting up. The battle continues. That's all you need to know. Let's take a break and come back. This is the Rob Carson Show. Hey guys, it's Carson. You know my signature phrase, don't catch the stupid. When it comes to Medicare, that's easier said than done. Medicare is overly complex with thousands of plans, hidden gotchas in the fine print, and rules nobody really explains to you. Many people just pick something and hope for the best. That's why you need to know about Chapter. They're the only advisor that looks at every plan in the country, matches your doctors, your prescriptions, and your situation to a plan that fits your needs. When your call with Chapter is done, you know your doctors are covered. Your prescriptions are matched, and you go from, I hope I did this right, to, I know I did. That, my friends, is peace of mind. A call with Chapter is free for my audience, and there's no pressure to sign up. Call Chapter today. Here's the number, 27 Medicare. That's 27 MEDICARE. 27 Medicare for Chapter. No pressure. What's your excuse? Call 27 Medicare and don't catch the stupid yourself. Call 27 Medicare today.
No King's Rally Day, saw it and said, what a bunch of losers. Most of them are unemployed, drug addicts, and also boozers. These protesters are so crazy, not to mention they are very lazy. No King's Rally Day, deadbeats with a criminal history. The fact that they don't have a job is really not much of a mystery. 7 million, there's no way. Crowd size exaggerated. Most of them were elderly and heavily medicated.
TDS. James Covell has TDS. Will I land in a psych ward? That is anybody's guess. It's for sure I'm insane. I really can't explain why for Donald Trump I have so much disdain. I'm as crazy as a loon. I'm gonna crack up soon. It's expanding like a big balloon. It's gotten even worse. It's gonna be my curse. TDS, TDS, TDS. TDS, TDS. Is it derangement? I say yes. Whenever Trump is mentioned, I become a giant mess. He causes me such pain, pain I can't contain. Of my existence, he has been a bane, like Ellen and Rosie. In our brain, he lives rent-free, driven me as crazy as can be. It's something I can't shake. How much more can I take? TDS, TDS, TDS.
The Rob Carson Show podcast is everywhere. Go to newsmax.com/listen for details.
It is the Rob Carson Show. Michael Charbon from the Charbon Report is going to join us at the bottom of the hour to talk about things Canada and whatnot. Matthew Farachi next hour. There is massive anti-Semitism that has been rising in this country because of the left, the Democrat Party and the left. There's no doubt about it, and even Alan Dershowitz says it's like 1932 Germany. I believe I've said that for a few years now, since the faux anti-Semitic rallies after October the 7th that were bought and paid for by George Soros, and all of that. So that's all coming up on this show. Just a real quick note, it's kind of weird to, I won't say I'm dating, because I'm really not dating. I went to a ball game with a woman the other day. That was about it. Was it really a date? No, not really. Did I get a kiss? No. Could be a number of reasons for that. But anyway, that said, not dating, not really dating, no, whatever. And I'm going to tell you right now that if you're on a dating site, I won't say which one I am on, but I will tell you I don't think it's a good match for me. If there's a woman of Russian heritage with a Russian name like Tatiana or Svetlana, just run. Just run. Run. Because honestly, I mean, what the hell is this? Is this like the Cold War or something here? Is there something going on? You get a Tatiana going, "Oh, hello, how are you? It's nice to talk to you. You sound very fascinating. Tell me about this vacation property you're thinking about buying. Well, why do you care about that? Oh, you are so pleasant and you are so strong." I'm like, really? It's just weird. It's weird. I'm from an analog era in a digital age, and I think I'm just going to have to do it the old-fashioned way. Find somebody at a bar, then stalk them for weeks. I'm kidding. Let's talk about the what's going on in Iran. The blockade of Iran. Things getting hopefully close to wrap it up.
We have it very much under control. The blockade is unbelievable. The Navy's been incredible. The job they did, it's like a wall of steel. Nobody goes through. In particular, the Iranians, they're not getting anything through one way or the other, so they're out of business.
Central Command says an Iranian-flagged vessel attempted to breach the U.S. naval blockade earlier today. CENTCOM says the vessel was warned multiple times before U.S. forces fired on it. The shots came from the 20-millimeter Gatling gun of an F/A-18 Super Hornet that took off from the USS Abraham Lincoln aircraft carrier.
And I have a feeling that it's going to take a little more butt kicking. That's just the thought that I have. There are still hangers-on in Iran that are hardliners, and nothing we do is ever going to get past them. They just have to be killed. I know. That's it. I mean, it's very cruel. Welcome to the cruel world. See, because they've been doing this for 47 years. That's why I know that we're going to have to kill them. Here's Donald Trump talking to Cheryl Atkinson about Iran.
Well, they're militarily defeated. In their own minds, maybe they don't know that.
Yeah.
But I think they do because I deal with them. And we cannot ever let Iran have a nuclear weapon. But they are militarily defeated. They have no navy. They have no Air Force.
No.
They have no anti-aircraft weaponry. They have no radar.
No. All they can really do is just stand there and hold their fingers to the sky like little handguns and go, pew, pew, pew. That's literally all they have right now. And we actually picked that up on radar, and we immediately hit them with drones.
They have no leaders. Their leaders are gone.
Yeah.
It's very interesting because, they make a deal and then they break it. Then they make a deal, they break it. It's a difficult group.
Yeah.
But from a military standpoint, I mean, if we left today, it would take them 20 years to rebuild.
Yeah, exactly. But they're not playing along. We had a headline earlier today, something to do with Saudi Arabia. Where is that? I will have to find it. Here we go. Saudi Arabia. Nope, that's not it. That's not what I'm looking for. Donald Trump paused Project Freedom after Saudi setback. President Donald Trump, this is from Newsmax.com, by the way. Paused Project Freedom, the short-lived U.S. military-backed operation aimed at escorting ships. Apparently, Saudi Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman suspended access to key Saudi bases and airspace needed for the mission. Do you really want to bleep with us there, old buddy? I don't know if it's a good idea. A phone call between Trump and him failed to resolve the dispute. This forced the president to suspend the effort to restore access to critical regional airspace. I don't know what's going on there. But honestly, I think our patients are running a little thin. And I think a lot of people, and you noticed, and I said this yesterday, you noticed that Jamie Raskin, sorry, let's get that messed up, and Chris Murphy. Chris Murphy, where's Chris Murphy? Silent, completely silent. Where's Adam Schiff? Where's Adam Schiff? None of them are talking about Iran this week. It was Quagmire before that. It was a failure before that. It was a forever war before that. And then last week it was they're going to use the War Powers Act to end it before it can end. And then all of a sudden they realize, holy hell, we're going to win this thing. So now they're being quiet. It's kind of weird, right? And even people like Bill Ackman, a hedge fund manager, is saying this was all worth it.
I thought we'd be down maybe 20%, and we're up. The stock market's higher now than when we started this war.
I know.
And I thought oil prices would go to $200, $250. It's at $100 now.
I know.
And I think you're surprised, and I'm surprised. But
this is why the Democrats are being quiet.
Even if it went to 200, it would have been worth it.
Yeah.
The bulls are out on the street. Billionaire money managers say
that's Jesse Waters.
They can see victory, and it was worth it.
It shouldn't be a bipartisan issue, right? You have a nearly nuclear launch-capable Iran.
This is not what the Democrats said. They said they weren't even close to it. They weren't a threat. They were a big teddy bear. It was a big teddy bear.
That we've set back in a very dramatic way. They've been the major driver of terrorism around the world. They're a fierce enemy of the United States. They threaten kind of global shipping, energy, etc. Yeah. And now the president and our military are getting that completely under control. I think we're almost done. I think it's weeks as opposed to many months, or it's a few months as opposed to it's not years. This is toward the tail end of a war.
Yeah. Now that the people of business are recognizing this was a really good thing for the entire world, they're getting behind it. Like Bill Ackman just there. Yeah, that's why so many billionaires came to dinner the other night with Donald Trump, because they're recognizing, oh, you know what? The Democrats are good for business in a very bad way, and Donald Trump is really good for it. So we will see what happens the next few days or so, but I have a funny feeling we're probably going to have to drop a few more bombs. We will see. On the way, we're going to be talking to Michael Charbon from Canada about a number of things, including, Pierre Poilievre, who is the guy who should be in charge of Canada, is issuing a very bad warning for Canada and the future of Canada because Canada is going in the wrong direction, like the Democrat Party in America. Let's take a break and come back, my friends. This is the Rob Carson Show. Hey guys, it's Carson for Ghost Bed. I am sleeping better than I've ever slept in my entire life. I used to think a mattress was just furniture, but I got a Ghost Bed. Ghost Bed doesn't build mattresses like furniture. They build engineered sleep systems. Their beds are serious health equipment. Beds designed for relief and recovery, not looks. Your body should be healing while you sleep, not fighting for comfort. I noticed immediately. My first night on a ghost bed, I slept for 10 hours. If you're waking up stiff, tossing and turning, sleeping hot, even reaching for a pain reliever before bed, hoping tonight will be different, that's not aging. That's your mattress talking. Here's another thing I love about Ghost Bed. You get 101 nights to try it at home. If you don't like the difference, just send it back risk-free. Ghost Bed is currently having their Memorial Day sale plus an extra 10% off for my audience. Go to ghostbed.com/Carson and use promo code Carson. Ghostbed.com/Carson. Promo code Carson for the sleep of a lifetime. For 250 years, Americans have believed in one powerful idea, that we were meant to live free, free to work hard, free to move, free to enjoy life without being held back. But if everyday aches and pains are slowing you down, might be time to declare your independence from pain. I did with Relief Factor. That's how I'm able to crush it at the gym every day. Thank you very much. Relief Factor is a 100% drug-free, research-based formula designed to help your body fight inflammation, one of the root causes of pain. It's not a quick fix or a temporary mask. It works from the inside out, at the source. Relief Factor was created so people could get back to living life on their terms, walking, working, exercising, and enjoying the moments that matter. This year, as we celebrate 250 years of American independence, take a stand for your own freedom. Declare your independence from pain. Try Relief Factor today for just $19.95. Your 3-week quick start is ready for you. Visit relieffactor.com or call 800-4RELIEF. My entire life, my betting has just been betting. I got the least expensive stuff I could find. Have you noticed your sheets slipping off the corners lately? Maybe your pillows just don't feel supportive anymore. Most people actually keep their bedding way longer than they should. It slowly wears down and you don't realize how much it's affecting your sleep. That's why I upgraded to Boll and Branch. They make everything your bed needs. Their signature organic cotton sheets, pillows, blankets, and comforters are all designed to be breathable, incredibly soft, and get better over time. Most people start out with their signature sheets. I added the waffle blanket, and now the whole bed just feels amazing. The moment you get Boll and Branch is the moment you discover the difference. Upgrade your sleep with Boll and Branch. Get 15% off your first order plus free shipping at bollandbranch.com. That's BOLL and branch.com/Rob Carson. Promo code Rob Carson. That's Boll and Branch, BOLLAND branch.com/Rob Carson. Code Rob Carson to unlock 15% off. Exclusions apply. Forever, this song will be synonymous now with Michael Charbon, the host of the Charbon Report, and also because he is now a benchmark on this radio program, 12:35 Eastern Standard Time every Thursday. Michael Charbon, how are you today?
Rob, it's an honor to be with you and your nationally syndicated radio listeners, as well as streaming on Newsmax on the great Rob Carson Show. I love your posts, your little travel catalogs as you go through D.C.
Oh, yes.
But I've got a point. I wanted to bring up this point right off the top. Did you hear what just happened in Garland, Texas? This is American justice at its best.
No, what happened?
So this guy is sitting in his car in a parking lot, and a guy comes up and tries to carjack his car. Yes. Inside the car are two women, there's two kids, a woman with a baby, and the guy keeps trying to carjack the guy and has a fight with the guy. What does the guy from Garland, Texas, who owns the car, do? He shoots the guy to stop him from carjacking the car. Yeah. And what do police say?
What?
Threatened for life, no charges.
Boom!
That, my friend.
Yes.
That, my friend, is American justice.
It is, and and there are places, I'm sure probably Canada is this way, that you can't even defend yourself with a gun when somebody breaks into your home and you're held liable for it. We need to return to good old-fashioned frontier justice, people.
Well, I mean, anytime you have something like that, someone's going to say it goes to amok. But here's the beauty of this. They had the CCT cameras in the parking lot.
I saw them,
This was a vape store, and he tried to carjack a couple of other cars. And if you are sitting there with your wife, your girlfriend, your two kids, and a baby, and this guy's trying to steal your car with these people still in the car,
boom.
I mean, it gets to the point where, see ya, bye-bye.
Yeah, 100%. Right? Then, we are all for me. But remember Bernie Goetz on the New York subway? He was actually finally, I guess, I don't remember how he was acquitted or whatever. But this is why Democrats don't want you to have guns. They don't want you to have to be able to defend yourself. And that consequently, criminals try this crap. When I lived in Kansas, okay, Kansas is not only concealed carry, it's open carry, brother. You know, when I was working at the car dealership, I never felt more secure that I'd see somebody come in wearing a gun. There was a guy who came in, old-timey, six-shooter on his hip. I'm like, have a seat. You're my customer. I know that nobody's going to bleep with me.
Well, look at the people in Iran. Here's a perfect example. They can't go up against the RGC
Thank you.
because they have no guns.
100%. On to other things. I have many other things. I've got a little piece of video that I'm in, which it's audio for radio, of course. But Pierre Poilievre, who hopefully will eventually, like Nigel Farage, lead their respective countries to save them. Here are some thoughts from this video.
For the first time ever, Canada is unable to produce enough electricity to supply itself. We have the fourth most oil anywhere on Earth, and yet we are now importing from Saudi Arabia and Nigeria. We have the most oil in the G7, and we are the only G7 country without an oil reserve. We have the most land, we have 10 times more land per person to live on, and yet we have the fewest homes per capita in the G7. We have the third most farmland per capita in the world, and yet 2.2 million people line up at food banks every month. That is a 100% increase over the last 7 years. And the bad news, I'm afraid, continues. Under Mark Carney, Canada has the highest household debt in the G7, the most unaffordable housing in the G7, the lowest investment per worker in the G7, the worst food price inflation in the G7, the second lowest productivity.
This is what leftism does. This is what's happening. And Michael, Canada's always a few steps behind us with regard to all things political. But it looks like a political earthquake is happening in the state of California and the city of Los Angeles. And I believe this is going to resonate across the country. It is right now. There's a secondary revolution happening here. Do you suppose this will eventually hit the fan in Canada?
Well, let's hope that the likes of what Steve Hilton is talking about as far as the governor is concerned is the same kind of sentiment that Canada will get a ding, ding, ding. I mean, if you consider that we had almost 15 years of Trudeau's Liberals, and we have a debt now of over $1 trillion, And Carney got in a minority government, and then through a couple of little deals and things like that, he now has a majority government, meaning that he just added, I think it was $250 million that are going to Ukraine. He's added almost another $600 or $700 billion worth of debt on Canada. Liberals and Democrats know how to spend. They don't know how to save.
Well, they don't know how to do it. They don't know how to do anything, to be quite honest. They're a bunch of damned academics who have no understanding of the real world. They are let-them-eat-cake liberals. They live in mansions while we live in tiny houses. They drive in limousine motorcades while they want us to drive crappy little electric cars. That is socialism. That's what it is. That's what it always brings with it.
Well, look at what Karen Bass said. If you watched the debate last night,
I did.
Illegals can vote because they have a green card or because they have a license because they've given licenses out. I mean, you talk about licenses. Talk about the CDL licenses, where I think it was one of the people in Florida. Yeah. They stopped like 3,000 truck drivers, and about 1,200 of them couldn't speak English. They took their licenses away. Yeah. It's all coming to roost. We're coming to see the reality of liberalism curtailing to illegal immigration.
Now you
and what
go ahead.
What Kathy Hochul is saying about Tim Homan, he's going to flood the zone. He's going to put ICE in there, and he's going to take out criminals. This is coming to a head now, and I think it's the right time for it because the midterms are coming up, right?
Well, I think, like I said, I believe this, Michael. It's a battle of good and evil, and I've said this all along quite confidently that I didn't believe the Democrats were going to be able to win either house going to the midterms, and I'm always, everybody is so terrified of it's almost like a superstition. If we could change the jersey mid-season when your team is winning, people are afraid if you don't immediately say when you think Republicans are going to hang on to both houses, if you don't immediately say, we got to be careful because we got to be ready, we got to be, I know that. You've got to be vigilant. You've got to fight. We are in a war, but we are also, battle-hardened troops. We've endured 10 years of this crap. So we're not taking anything for granted. With regard to illegal immigration and whatnot, 61% of Americans are worried that native-born Americans are losing their economic, political, and cultural influence because of immigration, according to an April poll by the Associated Press. This is happening all over the world, and the reason why people are feeling this way is because globalists have allowed it to happen to do precisely that. Your thoughts?
Yes, look at what's happening in Europe. Look at Germany. Look at Finland and Denmark. They're all turning now kind of like saying, okay, we're not... How can you say to a German person that you can't eat schnitzel, drink beer, and have sausages? That's sacrilegious. It's like saying you can't watch baseball and enjoy a tailgate watching football. It just doesn't happen. And I think the holding hands and singing Kumbaya people are having a problem. But, as a Canadian, we look at some of the stuff that's happening from a worldview of you guys. I mean, look at Zohran Mamdani. Yeah. How the heck did that guy get elected?
Because 65% of his voters were foreign-born. They don't have any respect for America. They didn't come here to assimilate. There you go.
Yeah, but you look at Abu al-Sayed, the guy who's for a Minnesota Senate candidate. Mm-hmm. Hassan Piker, he has 3 million followers. Even Kirk Bangstead, who's the Wisconsin government candidate. And then this is the best. I love this one. Yeah. Have you seen Maybe Pueblo?
Yes, I have. Let's save it. Let's save that. Let's save that for the other side of the break. We have to take a pause, okay?
Gotcha.
All right, cool. Hang on to that thought. We'll do it on the other side of the break. This is the Rob Carson Show. Let me get Maybe Pueblo.
ICE needs to get the out of California. My name is Maybe. I'm running for state senate in the heart of Los Angeles and East LA, and I will fight for human rights in the state legislature. I've been working with people experiencing homelessness for over a decade, volunteering at shelters, being the homelessness liaison for the neighborhood council, and now being the operations manager for the Neighborhood Homeless Coalition.
Yeah, this is California. That is a drag queen. A drag queen, seriously, I mean, honestly, it'd be like a clown wearing makeup, wearing one of those old-time barrels, with the suspenders because they lost their clothes. That's kind of what's running for California. You can't say that it's transphobic. No, I can't. She's a clown. Michael Charbon, you had thoughts about maybe. I think maybe people are kind of done with this nonsense.
Well, I just want to compliment you, Rob, again on your show prep and having these elements here. This is what makes you so popular and so entertaining and a must listen to. But
thank you.
With that said, this is a guy in a wig with grandiose makeup walking around saying, "You gotta elect me." Now, I don't care how does one say? I don't care how accommodating you want to be for people with different lifestyles. Have at it, man. If you want to, like you said, run around in a barrel, that's fine. But do you want to be elected?
Yeah.
This is a guy in a wig. The guy has a problem. And this is being accepted. People are actually listening to this.
I think most of us, Michael, most of us are done with this. Most of us left this behind a long time ago. Most of us don't care if we're called transphobic anymore. If we say, "You're out of your friggin' mind." We don't, it doesn't even impact us anymore. It's not getting us fired anymore. It's not getting us taken off social media anymore. So honestly, we've turned a corner on this, and this person can act like nothing has happened, but it has. Go ahead.
But Rob, here's a worldview, okay? This is people from around the world.
I don't care about the rest of the world.
But news organizations like to take the salacious elements of video and that, and they're putting this up and saying, "Look who's running an American election."
I know.
No wonder Donald Trump is crazy. I mean, there's got to be a point where a freedom of speech has a certain leverage in there, but there has to be where someone says, "This is crazy. This is not us. We're not moving forward with that." I mean, the best person I think right now in the Democratic Party is John Fetterman.
Of course.
I can't believe I have changed 100% what I thought. Here's a guy, right? 56-year-old guy walks around in a sweatsuit. I mean, he's been a senator since 2023, and he's talking sense.
Yeah,
and he's a Democrat.
Let me give you an idea. And listen, he says a lot of other bat guano crazy crap. Don't get me wrong, but he does have some common sense on some issues that are important to Americans, like, I don't know, us kicking Iran's butt because it needed its butt kicked. This is Van Jones, a communist, at least former, may still be communist, on CNN, saying that Van Jones is the sane one.
Look, I think he is a moderate Democrat, and that should not be illegal in this party. My God, you have to agree on 100% of the Berkeley, California agenda to be a Democrat? It doesn't make any sense. Like, it just shows you how nutty things have gotten.
Yeah, and I think we're turning the corner on this, truly. What do you think, Michael?
But Van Jones is the same guy on CNN when Trump won in 2015, I think it was, and started crying and said, "I have to talk to my kids because they don't think they're going to be able to walk." But this is the same Van Jones who also got, I don't know how many millions of dollars from Soros. So
I know.
I have a little...
I understand that, but what he just said there is true. I'll just give you that. Maybe he went through menopause. Maybe that's the reason why he's changed his tune. I want to move on here because I know you don't consider this serious, but over 300,000 signatures collected. Alberta separatists call on the premier to trigger a referendum. 302 signatures needed. They only need 178,000 signatures to force the province to consider such a vote. I realize that there are many hurdles before this, but like MAGA, if you discount these people, you may end up getting your ass kicked by them. What do you think?
Yes, you're partially correct. This is also the people who supply oil who have all kinds of carbon taxes. And look at Ontario, which is a financial center of Canada, and say those people on the east, they don't understand what we have to deal with farms and oil in the west.
Yes.
And they are asserting themselves and saying we're sick and tired of big government giving it to us with the broomstick. And to a certain extent, they are correct. There needs to be some alteration. But I still believe that our friends in Alberta and Manitoba and in the West still believe they want to be part of Canada. This is a bargaining tool, and this is hopefully a wake-up call for the rest of Canada and the government, the Liberal government, to acknowledge that the oil is such a huge part of who we are in Canada.
Meanwhile,
I don't think they're going to separate.
If Canada or if California and if New York wanted to leave, I would not even give a whip. I would not give a whip, honestly, because all they do is make everything else, bring everything down. But like I said, Michael, we'll wrap things up here. I believe we are having another revolution. This time, literally, I believe the people who are going to be leading the charge are common sense Democrats. And the fire is just being lit. The fuse has just been lit on it. Trust me on this. I know these things, Michael. I got a good instinct on this. Michael, where can people find your glorious work, brother?
Thank you, Rob. It's michaelacharbon.com. I'm on Facebook. I'm on LinkedIn. I'm on YouTube at the Charbon Report.
Always a pleasure. Always a pleasure, brother. Have a glorious rest of your week. Let's take a break and come back. This is the Rob Carson Show. Hi, kids. Hold on one second. You got to give me a second. While I'm doing this talk here, I've got to get ready for the next break. So pardon me for one moment. Ooh, I got something good. Yeah, I'll do this next. Anyway, how's everybody doing today? I'm doing well. Hell round a pony over on Rumbly Roo, Valentina. I was looking at this little place in Delaware, and it's like a double wide. Okay, I'll just be honest, it's double wide, but it's a double wide by the ocean, so it's really cool. And the price was unbelievable. I'm thinking, oh my God, this is great. Turns out it's on leased land. And the property would cost me 1/4 of the lease on the land. So let's just say the price per month was $2,000 a month to live there and own the home. $1,500 of it would be to lease the land. And I said, stick it. So I'm going to have to do something else. Might have to go with that Airstream trailer and find a spot to park it. I think I might have to just do that. Don't even know. But I kind of want to get away. Joseph Dawson, how are you? Deplorable Dinosaur. Let's go 909, whatever. Hi, good to see you. Thanks for joining us today, Rita in Tennessee. Hope you're enjoying the show. All you guys on Facebook, hello. Woo, hello. Who was that? Let me get over here. We got much to go on the show. Michael's good, though, right? It's good stuff. I hope Alberta gets out. All right, here we go. Here we go. It is a Rob Carson Show. Don't worry, we're going to get to the L.A. mayor debate last night, very shortly on the show. A lot of great audio on that. Dustin Grahi is a journalist. He's awesome. L.A. mayor poll, a whopping 88% of Angelinos say that he kicked some serious butt in the debate. Say they won it last night. Karen Bass has 7. And Nithya Raman. Was it ramen? I thought it was ramen. I thought it was like ramen, like really the bad ramen, 5 for $1 ramen with microscopic bugs in it. If you zoom in on an electronic microscope, that's kind of the ramen that she is. She's like that crappy ramen that you had to eat in college, that you and I ate in college because we were so poor, and we would put like Pizza Quick on it and make pasta out of it. This just in from Newsmax. Charlotte Mayor V. Lyles announced she will resign next month after mounting criticism over crime, public safety, and transparency scandals during her tenure leading North Carolina's largest city. North Carolina and Carolina in general can do better than idiots like this. I want to play this real quick. This is something that's gone viral. An amazing response from Marco Rubio, who is just, wow, right now he's in front of Republican polls for president in 2028. I'm not giving up on Vance, but I certainly would love to see Vance Rubio, oh, hell yeah, unstoppable. But this is pretty cool. He said this in a presser the other day. They added some production value, and it rings true more than ever in 2026.
I got to ask you, what is your hope for America at a time such as this?
My hope for America?
And my hope for America is what it's always been. I think it's the hope I hope we all share.
Come on.
We want it to continue to be the place where anyone from anywhere can achieve anything. Where you're not limited by the circumstances of your birth, by the color of your skin, by your ethnicity, but frankly, it's a place where you are able to overcome challenges and achieve your full potential. I think that should be the goal of every country in the world. But I think in the U.S., we're not perfect. Our history is not one of perfection, but it's still better than anybody else's history. And ours is a story of perpetual improvement. Each generation has left the next generation of Americans freer, more prosperous, safer, and that is our goal as well. And as we come upon this 250-year anniversary, I think we have a lot to learn and be proud of in our history. It is one of perpetual and continuous improvement, where each generation has done its part to bring us closer to fulfilling the vision that the founders of this country had upon its founding.
Yeah, in order to form a more perfect union. You're never going to get to absolute perfection. Trust me, I struggle with this every dang day. And I get setbacks and I go, man, I did not fulfill my promise to you. But we always pick ourselves up, we dust ourselves off, and we try harder to become better while people are trying to tear us down. There you go. By the way, have you been thinking about buying gold? I've been talking to you, harping you on about this for years and years and years. Come on now. Is today the day that you finally text my name, Rob, to Birch Gold at 989898? Is it not enough that I constantly ride your butt about it? It's like we're married or something. Honey, have you texted my name yet to Birch Gold to check out on gold? You haven't? Well, why don't you get on that? I'll give you an incentive. How about $10,000? Yeah. If you're a first-time gold buyer, they're offering an incentive up to $10,000 on qualifying purchases. There you go. I'll stop riding your butt about texting my name, Rob, to 989898. Just do that to Birch Gold. Free information on diversifying into gold. Birch Gold can help you convert an existing IRA or 401k into a tax-sheltered IRA and physical gold. I did it. You should too. Text Rob to 989898 to take advantage of a first-time buyer's up to $10,000 rebate on qualifying purchases. Hour number 2 of the Rob Carson Show, the great Matthew Farachi joins us, and L.A. mayoral debate highlights coming up. Don't go anywhere.
No blind rhetoric.
No talking down to me.
Don't tell me how to think.
Don't tell me how to think. Don't tell me how to think.
I trust Newsmax. Newsmax.
They don't tell me how to think. They let me decide.
Real news for real people.
The Rob Carson Show is presented by Chapter, Medicare Guidance Simplified.
You don't need to live with aches and pains. Visit relieffactor.com today.
about to hear the most interesting, informative, thought-provoking, and funny show in America. On air and on the World Wide Web. This is the Rob Carson Show.
This is hour number 2 of the Rob Carson Show. Our good friend Matthew Farachi joins us at the bottom of the hour. He's always awesome. He's been a friend of mine for a number of years, and he's always got incredible insights, particularly with regard to Israel. He spends a lot of time in Israel, and so we'll talk to him about what's going on in Iran and all that stuff. Hey, I might be, you ever get those messages in the mail where you get a class action settlement and you get nothing? You get D-word for Richard, it's like, oh, we got a giant, class action settlement against Comrex or whatever company you just want to make up. And they say, we're going to, we've settled a $200 million lawsuit and our lawyers are going to get $199 million of them and you're going to get 35 cents. That's the way it is, right? And I'm like, screw it, I don't even care. They'll send you check here and fill out this form if you want to take a part of this class action lawsuit, and you get $3. I'm like, screw that. But Apple has settled a lawsuit, must pay owners of a certain iPhones $95. What? Apple heavily promoted Apple Intelligence, including enhanced Siri capabilities, but didn't deliver. Here's who qualifies for the rebates, up to $95. All iPhone models, right here, including 16, 16E, 16 Plus. I've got a 16 Pro. No, I think I might have a Pro Max. Hold on one second. I think I might have a Pro Max. It's pretty, it's pretty cool. But anyway, roughly covers 36 to 37 million devices. Base roughly $25 per eligible device. Could raise to $95. I'll take it. I'll take it and buy, like 3 hot dogs at a Washington Nationals game. Here's a new Republicans dominating the redistricting war. Confirmed California is going to gain 5 Republicans, Utah 1, Florida 4, Missouri 1, North Carolina 1, Ohio 2, Texas 5, let's see, Alabama 1, Louisiana 2, Mississippi 1. Tennessee 1. As far as potential is concerned, it looks like as far as Democrats plus 4 in Virginia, but there's a 65% chance of that being overturned. Likely outcome 18 more Republicans and 6 more Democrats. So this is going to help us, and the Democrats are losing all sorts of ways to cheat, and this is one of the ways. So I remain optimistic. This guy, Spencer Pratt, is a pretty impressive fella. And Kayleigh McEnany says the Republican Party needs to be more like Spencer Pratt.
Spencer Pratt was phenomenal last night. He prosecuted the case. He has laid out a model that we as the GOP, we cannot surrender blue states. We can't surrender blue cities. We have to stand up and fight for conservatives everywhere they exist, and he has done that to great effect. Phenomenal model that everyone should look at. And Republicans in Congress, wake up. Get a little Spencer Pratt in you, because you just heard what they're about to do. Healthcare for illegal immigrants, potentially healthcare, potentially voting for illegal immigrants, and you guys can't even get the Save America Act across the finish line? Give me a break.
Yeah, we're sick and damn tired of it, by the way. Newsmax was doing a poll online this morning about frustration with the Republican Party, and I think 97% of us are not only frustrated, but pissed off at Republicans for doing nothing with regard to the SAVE Act. We're sick and tired of it. You're not listening to us? You better start listening to us, John Thune, because we've had enough of your do-nothing nonsense. Did you see what happened in Indiana? John Thune? You better get your bleep together. There is a new sheriff in town here. But anyway, there was a candidates debate. Justin Pratt, Karen Bass, who's a terrible mayor of Los Angeles, and this woman, Nithya Raman, who's a city council person, and not the good ramen, like the good ramen you go to the restaurant. You ever been to one of those ramen restaurants? I've never, when I was in college, I ate that crappy ramen. And it's weird because I graduated in 1989, and it still costs the same. The block ramen that you buy, you can go to Sam's or Walmart, and you can get the case of 24 packs of ramen. It's like $4. And there are 3 flavors: beef, really questionable; chicken, really questionable; shrimp, highly questionable. She's the bad one. She's that crappy ramen that you buy at Walmart, and it still costs as much as it did when I was in college, like $4 for $1, $5 for $1 on sale. That's who she is. She's that kind of ramen. But Spencer Pratt he just went bananas on these idiots, and I love the fact that he's giving them what for. He is unrelenting. He's hitting them with facts. There's no defending the policies of the Democrat Party the last 16 years in the state of California because they made Eden into a crap hole. Here he is talking about the homelessness crisis in California. They spent billions of dollars on homelessness in the state of California. Pardon me. Excuse me. I just ate some fruit. Anyway, billions of dollars on homeless in California. It's only gotten worse because there's a homeless industrial complex. All it does is pay off people who have NGOs. Those NGOs give money to the government, to Democrats to be reelected. It's just a massive amount of palm greasing, and none of the homeless get anything from it.
Well, the good news is when I enforce the law and clear the street of the drug addicts that have taken over 40 blocks.
You can't say that. They're poor homeless people. They're just out of work.
Of downtown LA, abandoned buildings that have drug addicts just lighting them on fire every other day. I will have potentially 20,000 units available to build. And thankfully, I spent a lot of time in a town that has a lot of builders, and I see all the new 3D printing and the potential of how fast we can do it. And with this ED1 that Mayor Bass is talking about, I met with the developer this week, Carlos, and he said, yes, she did an initiative where she fast-tracked it 6 months. It's been 2.5 years, and he hasn't been able to get his permits.
No.
The best part is some of these developers that are taking all of our tax money are charging $750 a square foot for stuff that should be costing $250. And Councilwoman Raman, this plan that she's going to build all these units, guess what? She's going to sue all the people that actually rents to the tenants, and then they're not going to even want to rent to anybody because she wants people to squat in there for a year. And
that's what Democrats have done. Of all the most outrageous things that Democrats have done in places like Los Angeles and New York is they allow squatters to stay in rental units, and you can't kick them out. And the only way you can get them out is to bribe them, essentially, to get them out. My mom used to run several rental properties, and a lot of times we'd have low-income Section 8 housing live in those units. And this is back in the 1970s, early 80s. And my mother used to have this deal: if you didn't pay your rent, what she'd do is when you were doing whatever you're outside, she would just move in to the foyer inside the door of your apartment and set up a card table and play solitaire and say, I'm going to be here until you pay the rent or move. It worked beautifully. My mother was a badass. She was a badass. And she kept a 38 snub nose in her purse just in case there are any issues. I miss you, Mom. You're the greatest. Oh, here's some more from Spencer Pratt about the Democrat Party and what they've done to Los Angeles.
Downtown is so unsafe now that they have to serve the food. All the employees have to eat inside. They can't risk going out. That's why all these beautiful restaurants are closing, because it's so unsafe. So before we require city workers to go back into any buildings, we need to enforce the laws on the street. Councilwoman Raman is talking about safety, yet when animal rescue activist Rebecca Corey came in and said the dogs are being tortured and abused on the streets of downtown, she walked out of the hearing. She doesn't care about safety. She doesn't care about anything she's talking about. At least Mayor Bass pretends to care.
What they do is they try their fentanyl on the dog, and if the dog dies, they don't take the fentanyl. That's what they're doing to these insane people in California, these homeless people. Oh, here's Karen Bass. This is just rich. So she's warned about the fire's possibility of them happening. She decides to go to Africa anyway. Now she's saying last night that I felt so terrible being stuck in Africa while my heart was in Los Angeles. This is so bourgeois of her. I mean, this is so ruling class.
As I have told you before, it was one of the worst moments of my life to not be here when my city needed me. And it didn't matter where I was or why I was away. To me, it reminds me of...
I was sitting there and I was drinking those tropical drinks, riding on the back of an elephant on safari, and I'm like, all I can think of is, those poor people back in Los Angeles.
Like if you're away and a family member is in an accident.
Oh, my God.
But I think that I deserve a second term, and I'm going
to... Was that a laugh line? She was here. Oh, okay.
Fight for that, because we have made significant progress in a variety of areas.
That has to be a laugh line. She's okay.
For example, homelessness was going up year after year. And under my watch, it is the first time we've had a decrease in street homelessness. While it went up
because they died of overdoses.
In the country, 18%. It came down in Los Angeles, 17.5%.
Oh, yeah.
I have expedited the building of housing because our number one issue in this city is affordability.
Hold on. 10,000 houses burned down because of the fires over a year ago, and 10 have been rebuilt. If that's expediting, then I guess they'll be done in the next 1,200 years.
Affordability. And one of the main drivers for affordability is housing.
Right. So let me follow up on the fires, though. One gets the impression, based on what we saw, that you prioritized wages and benefits, a hike in the salaries of the firefighters union over the operations budget. We saw those.
Which is absolutely true. Here's actually Spencer Pratt calling out this awful, awful communist idiot. I mean, honestly, just a complete buffoon on the LA fires. His house burned down. He's still living in a nice little Airstream trailer.
Fire. You lost your neighborhood. How does that really color your view of what needs to happen at this point? And how does that help others moving forward?
Yes, thank you for the question. To the Mayor Karen Bass's, the 1,000 firefighters that were available, but there was no engines for them because of the $17 million that Chief Crowley.
But they did have a very diverse chief of the fire department who was lesbian, transgendered, amputee, something, or person of color.
Had asked the mayor for 9 weeks before, and Mayor Karen Bass denied it. So they may have been available, but they didn't have the equipment.
Everybody knows it was completely mismanaged. And if you don't believe me, look at the fact that only 12 houses have been rebuilt after 10,000 burned down. Dear God in heaven, do you think we're stupid? One more thing here. Asked about yes or no question, should illegals be able to vote? The only way these two jackweed Democrats could win is if illegals are allowed to vote. They're asked a yes or no question. Of course, they didn't give it.
This is a yes or no question and answer. So there's an LA council member. He wants voters to decide. He is saying that non-citizens, should they be allowed to vote in local elections? Is this a yes or no, Mr. Pratt?
No.
There you go.
Mayor Bass.
It depends. It's not a yes or no.
Depends on what?
It is.
Well, first of all, when you say non-citizens, it doesn't mean they're here illegal. It doesn't mean they're undocumented.
Yes, it does.
They could have green cards. They could be here perfectly legal. And there's a lot of states and cities.
If you're not a citizen, how's that?
That do that on very, very local elections.
Oh, very, very local. Sure, they'll never become national. Give me a break.
We have to see what the councilman is proposing.
Councilmember Raman.
Yeah, I would say, again, it does depend. In other places, school boards have non-citizens.
Yes or no?
Non-citizens who
Mr. Pratt, I have a question for you.
Oh, I just hope and pray Spencer Pratt wins, and I also hope that Steve Hilton wins the California debate. Highlights from Steve Hilton on the other side of the break. Let's take a break right now. This is the Rob Carson Show. Hey guys, it's Carson from.
Hey Rob.
Hey, what? What?
We got Mark in Baltimore. Wants to talk about the elections and
Mark in Baltimore.
The Republicans and what they're doing, trying to do in Maryland.
They mine it out of the ground, and when it's gone, it's gone. That's why everybody from central banks to savvy customers are diversified with gold. If you've been thinking about it for years, but have still never moved some of your savings into physical gold, Birch Gold is the company I trust to help you. Now through May 29th, Birch Gold is giving a first-time gold buyer rebate of up to $10,000 on qualifying purchases. For details and a free information kit on diversifying into gold, text my name Rob to the number 989898. Birch Gold can help you convert an existing IRA or 401k into a tax-sheltered IRA in physical gold. Text my name Rob to the number 989898 to see if you qualify for a first-time gold buyer rebate up to $10,000. Hey guys, it's Carson. If you are on Medicare or about to be, you could be overpaying right now and never know it. Here's why. Millions of seniors are in a plan that doesn't fit their needs. Because Medicare is complicated, many brokers just steer people into plans that pay them the most. That's absurd. That is so absurd, I decided to write a little slogan for it. Medicare sure ain't fair, and choosing a plan is a bear. Pick a plan with a broker if you dare, and you might end up with a scare. Okay, listen, it's a little rough. You need to know about Chapter. They're the only national advisor that looks at every plan in the country, matches your doctors, your prescriptions, and your situation to a plan that fits your needs. With Chapter, you'll see what a plan actually costs, when you need it, not just the $0 sum plans advertised. Your doctors are covered and your prescriptions are too. You'll have confidence you have the coverage you need. A call with Chapter is free, takes about 20 minutes. If you're turning 65 or already on Medicare, call 27 Medicare. Again, that's 27 MEDICARE. Call 27 Medicare today.
She's caught in a trap, and now she's out. Trump was right to fire you, Pam Bondi. We've not seen one arrest. It seems what you do best is protecting crooks such as John Brennan. Couldn't go on forever with suspicious lies, and nobody was buying your phony alibis. Epstein's client list you said did not exist, contradicting everything you told us. You really changed your tune. Only a buffoon would not suspect that something's fishy. No one has been indicted. You didn't even try. So hit the road, Pam Bondi. Time to say goodbye.
Here we go. Yep.
One thing I would like to see updated is the word homeless to the word unhoused.
How about new?
Yeah, I think we're kind of done with that nonsense. Here's one of the many reasons California is such, so freaking insane.
She feels safe here.
With the help of a Spanish translator, Lisa says he's staying in a homeless shelter, identifies as transgender, and is undergoing hormone therapy to become more like a biological woman after entering the U.S. illegally.
Yeah, there are three things that are preventing you from becoming a biological woman.
From Honduras. Transgender. In this Manhattan Institute City Journal investigation, a whistleblower with access to city data.
What was he blowing? A whistle? Okay.
On homelessness says Lisa's story is becoming more common.
Universal health care for all, and regardless of your immigration status.
Especially after California Governor Gavin Newsom announced he's...
Oh, my God, just shut up. I can't take it anymore. Benny Johnson, I had a chance to meet Benny a couple of years ago. He used to have a weekend show on Newsmax, like me, and both of us are now superstars. Thank you very much. Here's Benny Johnson talking about the California nightmare.
You got to ask the question, are you better off? And that's ultimately the question, not just for 4 years, 8 years, but for the last 20 years. That state has been in a psychotic death spiral, and I was just...
Whoa. Who said that about the Democrat Party? Right here. Death spiral into hell, anybody?
In California.
Yeah.
I went everywhere from Beverly Hills to Skid Row, and we interviewed people. We were interviewing hobos smoking weed, and we...
You can't say hobo. Yeah, you can.
Interviewed billionaires that were trying to sell their house for half the price. Yeah. Up next, close to the Palisades. It's been burned down. And every one of them told me the same thing. They can't get out of California fast enough. Everything is nightmare fuel. It feels good right now being insurgent Republican.
Listen.
It feels good what happened in...
Listen, what I tell you. Remember what I told you about. This is a revolutionary year. This is This is
in Indiana last night, sticking it to the establishment in the Republican Party that have betrayed us time and time again. That's a great feeling.
Yes.
Ripping them out of their halls of power and casting them into the unemployment line. That's a great feeling. Democrats should do that in California.
Everywhere.
You've been betrayed by your leaders. Rip them out of their marble hallways and cast them into the welfare lines and the food lines, just like where they want you to live. It's a great feeling. Democrats, you can do it.
This is what I say to you Democrats on the national level. Are you hearing this? It's not just California. This is what I've been preaching to you. 80% of you, come on. In this nonsense in Washington, D.C., they don't represent you, dear God. They don't represent you. Real quick, Mark in Baltimore. Hello, Mark. Welcome to the Rob Carson Show. What's on your mind?
Yes, good afternoon, Shalom. I just want to let you know, first of all, last week, Tuesday, April 28th, was a special day for me. It was my 66th birthday.
Hey, happy birthday, brother. Happy birthday.
66, like Route 66, you know.
Yes, of course.
Okay, now the main thing is, yesterday I had the privilege of going to a monthly Women's Republican meeting. It was a local club where us men are associate members.
Oh, I thought maybe you were transitioning or something. I had no idea. What?
No, I'm not.
Okay, right.
No way. We're Republicans. Anyway, it was reported that throughout the state of Maryland, we have more women Republicans that are running for office on different levels. Good. They're not running, unfortunately, for the U.S. Congress level or the governor. I wish they did, or anything like that. But they're looking for different offices throughout the state, whether it's county, local, or state legislature or the like. This is important. If we can get more women and Republican women out there, I admire, the former Congressman Michelle Bachmann. Very pleased with what she did for Minnesota. I wish she stayed in there, but of course we got a difficult state as it is in Minnesota.
Yeah, Minnesota sucks. Maryland sucks. Listen, I got to run. Your governor is losing steam. A lot of people are kind of done with him. I call him the Westmore, the Fresh Prince of Bel Air head, because he's all show and are all talking, no show. He has bleeped things up. He took a budget surplus, $5+ billion, made it into a $3 billion deficit, and of course the Bay Bridge project, which was supposed to cost $2 billion. Not the Bay Bridge, the Key Bridge project that was hit by a container ship a couple of years ago, a little over a year ago. They were going to do it for $2 billion. They hired a contract that was going to cost $9 billion. I think Marylanders are tired of it, and I hope and pray to God that the Berlin Wall is going to finally fall in Maryland. I lived in Maryland for a dozen years. I fantasized and dreamed about living in Virginia, and then of course they elected an insane socialist, Marxist, CIA agent, crazy cat lady over here. So we'll see. But as far as Maryland, I think Maryland, like California, like a lot of states run by Democrats, are sick and damn tired of the people in charge. It's going that way in Minnesota, by the way, as well. But I do appreciate your phone call very much, very, very, very much. Coming up, I want to talk to Matthew Farachi about what's going on in New York. After October the 7th, I remember seeing, after this horrific attack on the Jewish people, raping women multiple times, standing in line to rape a woman, and then the last guy in line shoots her in the head, baking babies alive in oven. I could say it because it happened. Crowding people into bus shelters and throwing grenades in and watching them explode. That's what the Hamas did to the Israelis. That the next day they had anti-Israel protests locked and loaded. Bought and paid for by people like George Soros and Neville Singham. Those are the people who support Zohran Mamdani. There were violent protests outside of a mosque in New York City. Zohran Mamdani, rather than condemning the violence, has decided to defend free speech, supposedly. There is it's not a fine line between a protest and a violent mob. If you're a violent mob, you need to be put down with a beat down, pepper balls, rubber bullets, the whole deal, and then, of course, handcuffs. We're going to talk to him on the other side of this break. This is The Rob Carson Show. Hey guys, it's Rob Carson for Relief Factor. There's a reason why at my age I can still crush it at the gym, carry an armchair by myself, or do any home improvement project without pain during or after, and that's Relief Factor. When it comes to supplements, the two things that matter most, it works and you trust it. Relief Factor was created by a combat-wounded Vietnam veteran. He decided to become a doctor simply to help people, to heal them. If pain is holding you back, find out why so many people, including me, make Relief Factor a part of their daily routine. Try the 3-week quick start today. Go to relieffactor.com. That's relieffactor.com, or call 800-4RELIEF. That's 800-4RELIEF for Relief Factor. Hey guys, it's Carson for Ghost Bed. I am sleeping better than I've ever slept in my entire life. I used to think a mattress was just furniture, but I got a Ghost Bed. Ghost Bed doesn't build mattresses like furniture. They build engineered sleep systems. Their beds are serious health equipment. Beds designed for relief and recovery, not looks. Your body should be healing while you sleep, not fighting for comfort. I noticed immediately. My first night on a Ghost Bed, I slept for 10 hours. If you're waking up stiff, tossing and turning, sleeping hot, even reaching for a pain reliever before bed, hoping tonight will be different, that's not aging. That's your mattress talking. Here's another thing I love about Ghost Bed. You get 101 nights to try it at home. If you don't like the difference, just send it back risk-free. Ghost Bed is currently having their Memorial Day sale plus an extra 10% off for my audience. Go to ghostbed.com/Carson and use promo code Carson. Ghostbed.com/Carson. Promo code Carson for the sleep of a lifetime. My entire life, my bedding has just been bedding. I got the least expensive stuff I could find. Have you noticed your sheets slipping off the corners lately? Maybe your pillows just don't feel supportive anymore. Most people actually keep their bedding way longer than they should. It slowly wears down, and you don't realize how much it's affecting your sleep. That's why I upgraded to Boll and Branch. They make everything your bed needs. Their signature organic cotton sheets, pillows, blankets, and comforters are all designed to be breathable, incredibly soft, and get better over time. Most people start out with their signature sheets. I added the waffle blanket, and now the whole bed just feels amazing. The moment you get Boll and Branch is the moment you discover the difference. Upgrade your sleep with Boll and Branch. Get 15% off your first order plus free shipping at bollandbranch.com. That's BOLL and branch.com/Rob Carson. Promo code Rob Carson. That's Boll and Branch, BOLLAND branch.com/Rob Carson. Code Rob Carson to unlock 15% off. Exclusions apply.
is Mamdani's New York, and he's defending it.
We in this city believe in the sacrosanct nature of the right to protest, and also are committed to ensuring that any New Yorker can safely enter or exit from a house of worship, and that access never be in question, while we also protect the First Amendment. And I do believe that the police ensured that yesterday evening.
Yeah, you see, there's a difference between the First Amendment and violent mob that's inspiring fear and terrorizing people. And those people need to have a serious tuchus kicking. I'll just say tuchus kicking. Matthew Farachi is the founder and president of Gideon 300 and Inspire Buzz Media companies. They need a tuchus kicking, don't they?
Oh, Rob, how am I supposed to get it together for your show when you make me laugh right at the outset? You always do this to me, Rob.
Well, it can start off being really hacked off and everything, but I honestly, I can't just be angry all the time. I get so tired of hearing that nonsense. I look at this as an opportunity. We knew what we knew what we were getting with this jackass. I said that he's Islamist first. He uses the left, and just like they did in Iran in 1979, once they get into office, then they're the useful idiots are gotten rid of. So this is not a big surprise. But tell me your thoughts on this protest out in front of a synagogue, which was nothing more than a terror rally.
Rob, the bottom line is that this is all part of the same Islamist global revolution that is happening all over the world. It's the same people that are chanting Free Palestine in New York are backing the Iranian mullahs who are slaughtering their own people. It's one connected network, and it's amazing how slow the West has been to figure that out, right? Yeah. We're watching what's happening in London, in France, and all these European countries, shaking our heads. It's happening now in our own country. And by the way, not just in New York, in Texas,
yes,
which we can get into at some point, but
we will.
But it's outrageous to say that we have to protect the First Amendment when people are bent on violence. That's not the First Amendment. The First Amendment is the right to speak freely and air your opinion. It doesn't mean the right to hail obscenities and try to rough up the cops.
And terrorize.
There's a big difference.
And terrorize. Number one, of all of the things, terrorism. That's what the damn thing happened on America's college campuses when you had Jewish students hiding in a library. That isn't free speech. That's terrorism. That is a threat. That is illegal. Correct. And I got to tell you what, this is why I came up with the expression homeboys, hillbillies, and Hebrews, Matthew. Sooner or later, if the authorities aren't going to do it, we're going to have to head down, and we're going to have to get involved, and we're going to have to end this crap. That's just the way it is. And this is going to happen wholesale. Americans are going to have to stick up and say, we're done with this bull crap. Down in Texas, of all the states that this massive, Sharia-compliant subdivision could happen, I can't believe it's happening in Texas.
It's amazing, right? Why don't they at least have a sign outside that says, beat your wives for free?
Yeah.
I mean, you know what I'm saying? It's absolutely absurd, and this goes into, Rob, judicial overreach, where we vote for people who represent us, who represent our interests and our priorities, and then an out-of-control judiciary is coming in, and an activist judiciary, which was never intended by the Founding Fathers, is coming in and throwing that out. Look at could you believe the other day that they let the guy out in Georgia that stabbed that Ukrainian girl on the train?
Yeah.
Or the judge who apologized to the would-be assassin of President Trump for how he was treated.
Yeah.
These people are not, these judges are not part of mainstream America.
No.
Americans don't agree with their point of view. And particularly, Congress has the ability to do something about this in many cases, or the state governments, but I think Americans, I don't know what you think, Rob, but I think Americans are sick of this.
Oh, of course we are. Of course we are. Over in where I live here in Northern Virginia, in Old Town Alexandria, there is a county prosecutor called Steve Descano, and he is letting people out of prison who should be in prison. It resulted in the death of this wonderful woman named Stephanie Minter. This guy was an illegal alien, arrested 40 times. He gutted her at a bus stop a couple miles from where I live right now, and it looks like the Fed is going after this guy. I want to play the audio from this wonderful reporter on ABC ABC7 in D.C.
DOJ is specifically looking into Toscano's decisions when it comes to plea deals, sentencing policies.
So city county attorney.
And essentially if he's going too soft on crime, if you will, when it comes to prosecuting undocumented defendants. Now take a look. The DOJ tells us, quote, this investigation will uncover whether this prosecutor is putting the community at risk in offering sweetheart deals to illegal immigrants charged with serious crimes.
These policies are only part of the puzzle to find out what's happened over the last 6 years with Steve Toscano and so many victims who've been left out because of what he does and really doesn't do as the chief prosecutor for Fairfax County.
Yeah, and this happened all over the country. He's a Soros bought and paid for political hack, and hopefully the Fed is going to start going after these people, including the judges.
Yeah, well, you identified it there, Rob. This is part of because, your average person says, how does this happen? This doesn't make any sense. It does make sense when you realize it suits a political agenda, which is to promote one group over another group. So It's the opposite of justice is blind.
Well, it's also creating chaos. It's also bringing down the country as founded. I want to play a soundbite from Zohran Mamdani. I want you to listen to this. Apparently there was a business page sponsored by the city promoting Israeli businesses, and they took it down. Listen to this.
EDC recently removed a page promoting Israeli businesses. I said the Economic Development Corporation recently removed a page promoting Israeli businesses in New York City. I'm wondering, why did that occur? And I'm wondering, does that have to do with your sort of expressed views about Israel, the rights of Palestinians?
You think?
And furthermore, does this suggest any sort of shift in the city's treatment of Israeli businesses or Israeli companies in the city?
I can get back to you on the specifics of that.
Oh, my God. Matthew, I mean, duh. You didn't even need to ask the question. He wears it on his sleeve.
Well, also, why would the reporter settle for that? You are a terrorist-loving individual who hates Israel, whose wife came out. We know that his wife, was supportive of October 7th. Just think about this.
Yeah.
The wife of the mayor of New York, which, by the way, how much sunlight is there between the wife and the husband?
Of course.
There is none.
Yeah.
Right? In fact, if you think about it, Rob, your wife represents the heart of your home. She represents the soul of your home, right? And so the soul of Mamdani's home is we support October 7th.
Yeah.
So of course this was done intentionally, and I love how he says, "I'm going to have to get back to you on that," and they take the answer.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think
saying to Elon Musk, like, you removed a page from a competitive company that makes rockets. Is that because you own SpaceX? And Elon says, yeah, I'm going to have to get back to you on that.
Yes. All right, so I've got much more to get to at the other side of the break. We're talking to the great Matthew Farachi. Let's take a break. This is The Rob Carson Show.
I feel like I'm in 1932 Berlin at the standing up against what was going on. Not 1938. I'm not saying 1938, but in 1932, before the election of Hitler as chancellor, the universities were turning against Jews. If there was Israel, they'd have been turning against Israel. And I feel I'm one of the few people who am standing up against my old party. Look, I became a Democrat when I was 14 years old. I used to go with a loudspeaker and campaign for a guy named Philip Schuppler, who was running for assembly on the Democratic ticket. So I've been a Democrat for 70 years. I now am strongly opposed to that party.
Yeah, 100% you should be. Anti-Semitic attacks in the United States reached a record high in 2025, even as overall incidents fell by a third, according to the new Anti-Defamation League audit, showing violence against Jews continued to escalate even as broader incidents declined nationwide. Now, this is bought and paid for, by the way. It's bought and paid for. Neville Singham, George Soros, and others. And I think America's had a belly full of it. Matthew Farachi, what are your thoughts on Professor Dershowitz's comments and the statistic I just mentioned?
Oh, well, unfortunately, I think it's true for the Democratic Party, not just on that issue. I mean, I read an amazing piece the other day that said it this way, Rob. Anti-Semitism, it's the same crowd, anti-Semitism and anti-American sentiment. In other words, the two are linked.
Yes.
Again, this is fundamentally this is the Islamist revolution trying to overthrow the biblical worldview-based Western world. And that is absolutely what is happening right now.
Yeah, but the thing is, I heard Victor Davis Hanson, I think it was the other day, and I agree with him. He said when political movements turn toward anti-Semitism, it means they're in their death throes. And I believe this. I believe the Democrat Party is in its death throes right now. There is a great awakening happening, I believe, among the rank and file. I think we're going to see some incredible things happen in the state of California, in the city of Los Angeles. And I'm optimistic. I think that they have peaked, and they like as I always say, they expose their flanks so we can kick their tuchus, you know?
Yeah, Rob, yes, and let's remember that anti-Semitism, it's not a racial thing, okay? It's not like racism. Anti-Semitism is rebellion against God. And so these people are openly rebelling against God. And by the way, in many cases, the worst possible foul, rebelling against God in the name of God, which the Bible talks about.
Yes.
And so we know God wins in the end, and we know it's our job to align with God regardless of the way the winds are blowing.
Yes.
I think that a lot of people, Rob, you and myself concerned, are also very concerned about the Jew hatred taking place on the right. Now, I would just say, by the way, I don't think that Jew hatred on the right is on the right, meaning I don't believe they represent the right. No. I think people like Tucker and Candace are actually lefties who have embedded themselves and are posing as being part of the right to destroy MAGA.
Did you see? Did you see what he was? Tucker was in an interview with the New York Times woman, what's her name, Zulu, and he denied calling Donald Trump the Antichrist, and it's in my TV show Rob Carson's What in the World, which airs twice on Newsmax this weekend. Thank you very much. He denied calling Trump the Antichrist, and then she had the tape. Why in the mother bleeping hell would Tucker Carlson suggest that Donald Trump is the Antichrist unless he is on the wrong side of God and the wrong side of good?
Well, also, Rob, in his explanation, he said he didn't really know what the Antichrist was and research it further. I know. What happens is when somebody does that, and this is biblical as well, when you start striking out against God, God takes his hand off of you and says, okay, if you want to go down that rabbit hole and go down the rabbit hole of madness and insanity, I'm going to let you do it.
And by the way, I contend,
that's
Matthew,
exactly what's happening.
I contend that the Antichrist is not an individual. The Antichrist is a movement, and that is what is going on with the left. I believe it is. I really, really do. That's why I believe this isn't about kicking one person's rear end. This is about taking down an evil group of people who are siding on the wrong side of good and the wrong side of God. I believe this from the depths of my soul. You know this. I've been talking to you this from day one when I first talked to you.
Yep.
I said that we are in the throes of a battle between good and evil, and I believe it more than ever in my life. My faith has only blossomed, my brother.
Well, and Rob, you are privileged to work for a stalwart called Chris Ruddy, who started this wonderful network. And Chris isn't influenced by the winds of change. Chris acts on principle. And he hires people based on a pro-American, pro-Western worldview, and he doesn't apologize for it. And that's why Newsmax is such a wonderful place to be.
Now, I want to mention something before we go, Matthew. Washington, D.C. is doing Rededicate 250, which is going to take place May 17th on the National Mall, describing it as a national jubilee of prayer, praise, and thanksgiving. This is what I'm talking about. The brothers and sisters, my Hebrew brothers and sisters, my Christian brothers and sisters, my Muslim, not Islamist brothers and sisters, my Hindu brothers and sisters, coming together as the counter to the evil that's taken over the world. And I can feel it. This is going to be an amazing event, bro.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
I'm going to be down
there.
And
it's got a lot of energy behind it. I just went to an event yesterday that Breitbart put on yesterday morning with Monica Crowley.
Oh, yeah.
Who's doing an amazing job over there.
Yes.
And Monica was describing this event, and wow, the way she put it together, everybody in the room was jazzed to be able to attend.
I hope to be down there myself. I just live across the river, so I am going to go over for the event for sure. Matthew, I appreciate you, man.
Rob,
thank you so much.
The Red Keys will part when you show up. Don't worry about it.
You know what? I'll just walk across the Potomac.
You're just going to walk across the Potomac, Rob. That's what you're going to do. I mean, you can do the Jewish version, and the Potomac will part, or you can do the Christian version. You can walk across. It's up to you, Rob. I just want to see you get there. Okay.
I need to drive my staff into the Virginia side of the Potomac and watch it part. You know what would part the Potomac? Just some disinfectant. It would just.
Yes. No, that's probably true, Rob. If you just said something true, the Potomac might part out.
I know. I could walk right across. All right, Matthew, thank you, brother. I appreciate you. Matthew Farachi on the Twitter. Anywhere else people can find your glorious work?
That X is absolutely perfect. At Matthew Farachi. That's the best place.
All right, God bless you. We'll talk soon. Let's take a break and come back. This is the Rob Carson Show. He's fun, isn't he? I've known him for 6 years now. He's one of the first people that I met. I knew him before I got sober. He was there the day that everything changed. He was there the day everything changed. It's amazing. Hello, Wild Bill West. What's going on? Let's look over YouTube. Hello, Habalone. What's going on? Girardelli's chocolate was in Marina District, now in San Leandro, California. Now is a tourist landmark. Okay, I'm talking about that. Crisliner, you're new. CRZLNR. Good to see you there. Where's Nostradamus when you need him? And Nostradamus has never been right. He's always wrong. You got Rob Stradamus right here. I'm not a soothsayer, but I have common sense and life experience, and it usually pays off pretty well. Pradeyu Juprachat, how are you? Richard Walra reposted the stream on Twitter. Thank you so much. We need more views and more people on Twitter. We got a lot of them. We can do better. Got to build these audiences, make them bigger. Oh, yeah, I got to do this. This is good. Matthew was so good. You are the best! Exclamation point. That was fun! Exclamation point. I just texted him. Let's talk. Let's talk about sex, baby. Let's talk about you and me. Let's talk about all the good times and the bad times that will be. Let's talk about. Salt and pepper.
Come on, feet. Stop.
Come on.
Got to get me there.
Thank you, Matthew Farachi, for being on the show. He's always awesome. Make sure to check out the podcast if you missed any of the interview. And, of course, on all your usual podcast platforms, Rob Carson Show. Ken Griffin's a billionaire. He was called out by Zohran Mamdani a couple weeks ago, and Zohran Mamdani said, well, I'm going to tax the rich. And he was standing right out there in front of his home. And here is his reaction on Fox News with regard to the Mamdani pied-à-terre tax of billionaires and millionaires, people who have a property above $5 million in New York City, and wanting to tax them more. And the terrifying video where Zohran Mamdani doxed Ken Griffin.
City Mayor Zohran Mamdani. Remember that video from the mayor? Well, Ken Griffin is reacting after the Democrat socialist singled him out in that viral video, announcing a new tax on second homes.
Listen.
It was creepy and weird.
Agreed.
I mean, like, knock on the window. Like, Mayor of New York City.
On the screen, yeah.
Yeah, on the screen. Like, that's
How many times have you watched that video?
3. Like, you literally look at the first time and you're like, you got to be kidding me. Okay? And then the second time you're like, you know what, this has gone from creepy to actually not really creepy. This has gone frightening because, you know, the CEO of United Healthcare was killed just a few blocks from my house.
Yeah.
And anything that creates like an agitation in the extremist on either side of the aisle.
No. It's all from the left, and it ultimately has resulted in violence like which you just spoke. The murder of Charlie Kirk, and of course 3 assassination attempts against Donald Trump. But Ken Griffin is going to have the last laugh. He's out of New York.
So where does that leave us at 350 Park?
That leaves us with the fact that
it's a multi-billion-dollar development that he's pulling.
We went to Miami and revised our building plan to make it a bigger office building.
You're bailing?
Bye.
So what do we do at 350 is still a point of discussion internally. But what is no longer a point of discussion is that Miami is now, you know, when we moved from Chicago, there was a debate between New York and Miami. It's unquestionably true that we made the right choice. I'll leave it at that. It's unquestionably.
They're moving out. You know, I used to think it was going to take a civil war to divide the country. Maybe not a war, but certainly an absolute division. Not necessarily walls, but division between Democrat-run socialist states and Republican states. And then I said that eventually the people from the Democrat socialist states would be streaming across the border of the Republican states. It's happening organically. It's happening. It's real. This is what I predicted years and years and years ago. It's happening. It's happening in New York. It's happening in California. It's happening. And they are going to be starving in New York for tax dollars. They're going to be losing their programs. They're going to be going bankrupt. They won't be able to support their moist socialist dream. It is actually happening, and it didn't need a Berlin Wall to happen. This is real, and that's what makes it so good. The Democrats haven't learned. Socialism always fails when you run out of other people's money, and it's happening, for lack of a better expression, in real time. Let's take a break and come back. Last hour of the Rob Carson Show is right ahead. Don't go anywhere.
The Rob Carson Show is presented by Chapter, Medicare Guidance Simplified.
You don't need to live with aches and pains. Visit relieffactor.com today.
Now, you are about to hear the most interesting, informative, thought-provoking, and funny show in America. On air and on the World Wide Web. This is the Rob Carson Show.
This is hour number 3 of the Rob Carson Show. There is much to get to this hour. I don't even know how I have extra material when I leave the show. Rush used to do like an hour after the show, an additional hour, a little bonus hour. I might have to do that eventually, I swear, because I got a lot of stuff to talk about. So, by the way, my TV show is called Rob Carson's What in the World? We just approved the show for this weekend. It runs Saturday afternoon at 3 o'clock. I know. It needs to be on Saturday night. We're working on it. Sunday night at 8:30 following Dr. Michael Savage. Donald Trump loves the show. He retruths it. Last few weeks, he's been retruthing the heck out of it, taking big pieces of the show out and saying, hey, watch this. So we appreciate the President of the United States loves my show and retruths it on Truth Social. Pretty cool. And he's been a fan of the show for at least 6 years. Did you know that? At least 6 years. It's kind of cool. No, it's beyond cool, actually. It's absolutely excellent. Absolutely excellent. Makes me happy. Makes me proud, to be quite honest. 1,000 million %. So, Pramila Jayapal is... I'm hoping, I would love to see her in very hot water. You have the Democrat Party doing seditious, treasonous things. You had a number of them telling the military to disobey Donald Trump's orders by declaring them yourself illegal. Okay, that's actually happening. You had a bunch of them go overseas and condemn the military and Donald Trump on foreign soil at that whatever idiotic kind of conference that followed Davos. And so they are a Confederate party. The Democrat Party is a Confederate party. They are working for the downfall of the country as founded and the leadership of the country. They've been doing this forever. They tried to pull a coup d'etat with Russia collusion. And so they are a Confederate party. There's no doubt about it whatsoever. They're at war with us. They're at war with us. And so I say we treat the midterms as a war. And a revolutionary war, and we already are. We are hardened for battle. We have been at this for 10 years. We are unrelenting. They never win. But Pramila Jayapal and Representative Jonathan Jackson spent 5 days in Cuba during the congressional delegation visit. They met with Cuban President Miguel Diaz-Canel, Foreign Minister Bruno Rodriguez, and members of the Cuban Parliament. Now, the people of Cuba have been suffering for 70 years. They're starving, not because of Donald Trump, but because of 70 years of absolute crap, where they get, I believe it's either 1 pound of beans and 5 pounds of rice, or 5 pounds of beans and 1 pound of rice every month. That's their allotment. The stores are always understocked. The people are always suffering. There are 90 political prisons in the country. They are a bunch of miserable, rotten, murderous wretches. But this awful woman, Pramila Jayapal, decides to go down there and gratify them, I guess, to some degree. And here's what she's doing now, because right now we have Cuba on the brink of toppling and freedom coming to Cuba. And the Democrat Party, the same Democrat Party who's cheering for our defeat in Iran, because they would rather have the Ayatollah in charge. They would rather have tentacles around the world with tens of thousands of deaths, terrorist attacks around the world, millions of women in Iran being unable to express themselves, have jobs, show themselves in public, wear their hair out in the open without being tortured, murdered, or imprisoned. That's your Democrat Party. They're on the wrong side of history. They would have said, rebuild the Berlin Wall. They would have said, stop the invasion of Normandy. That's your Democrat Party. That is they would have said that it was a damned shame that Hitler had to kill himself and his girlfriend as the American forces were descending. That's the Democrat Party. And by the way, I'm not being pejorative, because their actions speak louder than their words. Here is Pramila Jayapal on going around our government which, by the way, is a violation of the Logan Act. It's not going to end well for her, I'm going to tell you right now. But listen to this awful, awful woman defend a regime that has imprisoned much of its population. Free speech is not allowed. Starvation is all too common.
In January, Trump issued an executive order threatening tariffs on any country supplying fuel to Cuba. This was
I know, it's awesome.
January, just a few months ago.
Yeah.
And oil shipments from Venezuela, that's where Cuba had been getting its oil.
Oh, listen to this, listen.
Were halted after the U.S. operations to kidnap Nicholas.
Wasn't a kidnapping, you idiot. There was an international bounty on his head. Joe Biden increased the bounty from, I believe, $10 to $15 million. The bounty's what, $25 million. He is a political criminal, and that's why we extradited him without killing anyone but the Cubans that were there to defend him, the communists who were there to defend him. So honestly, wow.
Maduro. Since January.
They would rather have Maduro in charge. That's how wrong they are. They would rather have Joseph Stalin in charge. They would rather have Lenin in charge. They would rather have Hitler in charge. They really would.
Only one Russian tanker of oil has made it to Cuba.
Operation, well, not quite successful, but pretty darn successful.
In fact, it landed just a couple of days before I landed. And one tanker has enough oil basically for 10 to 14 days of Cuba's oil needs.
Awesome.
So it's a very limited amount of time. Now, Russia has said they're going to send another tanker. I was in conversations with the ambassadors.
Oh, we got to capture it.
From Mexico and some other places.
She's working with the Mexicans. They're the ones who are still run by the drug lords.
You know, other countries in Latin America are trying to figure out how to get oil there. But it is
maybe you don't understand. We have a blockade going there.
It's a crisis beyond imagination.
Yeah, it's meant to be. It's meant to take down the government, you idiot.
Just this past Friday on May 1st, Trump signed a broad executive order that widens sanctions and allows for new penalties.
Why don't you go over to Iran? Why don't you go over to Iran wearing the little sundress you're wearing with the hair out and talk to them about maybe helping them out a little?
Similar to what we have for Iran and Russia against foreign banks and firms that are dealing with Cuba, and it also reinforces the ban on U.S. tourism. I have called these sanctions an economic bombing of the infrastructure of Cuba.
I know, perfect. That is a great expression. I couldn't have put it better myself.
It is illegal. It is against the war. We've been talking about this.
No, it's not. It's completely legal.
Iran, obviously, to bomb the infrastructure of any country.
No,
that is
not
against
at all.
international law.
No, it's not.
This is essentially doing the same thing. It is bombing the infrastructure.
That's so awesome. Without the bombing. Good job, Donald Trump. Her comments, some wonder if Jayapal's foreign nations might be in violation of the Logan Act. I'll just read from the Logan Act for you. Any citizen of the United States, whether he may be who without authority of the United States, ding ding, directly or indirectly commences or carries on with any correspondence or intercourse, ew, gross, Pramila Jayapal. Ew, sorry, hold on. Go away. Get out of my head. With any foreign government or any, oh, there it's back. Oh, stop it. Oh, my God. Oh, there's Nancy Pelosi. Stop it. Foreign government or any officer or agent thereof with intent to influence the measures or conduct any foreign government or of any officer and agent thereof in relation to any disputes or controversies with the United States or to defeat the measures of the United States shall be fined under this title or imprisoned not more than 3 years or both. The section shall not abridge the right of a citizen to apply himself or his agent to any foreign government or the agents thereof for redress of any injury which may have sustained from such government or its agents. Yeah, 3 years in jail and a massive fine, like every dime she has. How about that? But Democrats have been doing this for years. Democrats have been doing this for years. And she, as a representative of Congress, cannot subvert the policy of the administration, of the commander-in-chief, of those in charge. And I hope the hell she gets her butt sued the hell off. Yeah, because we're doing the right thing. And I would venture to say if you polled the expats in Cuba who've been there, or I should say in Florida, who came from Cuba across shark-infested waters, or who were exiled or escaped from Cuba, or the descendants of them, 100% would say, you are completely out of line and you shouldn't be doing this nonsense. There you go. Charlemagne the God is a bad music jock who thinks he's more important than he really is, because he has a lot of people listening. He does stupid, bits like music jocks did. I did music radio forever. I did a lot of stupid crap, because, that's what music jocks do. But he's a music jock. He's illiterate when it comes to politics, and he always mouths off, and he's been saying very bad things about Donald Trump, including saying that, the American people are suffering so bad that maybe Donald Trump should have been shot. That kind of crap. Well, the other day he had a person of color call him his show and set him straight.
How has his policies, what pain has his policies caused you?
What pain has these policies caused me?
Yep.
None, bro, because I'm old enough to remember Bush's last administration and how the gas prices and food prices.
Yeah, it was much worse under Biden there, Charlemagne. Oh, God. But you wouldn't know that because you live in a gated community.
COVID. Joe Biden's policies. Yeah. I think the only thing that changed is the way y'all radicalized the media against Donald Trump. That's why people trying to kill him, because the media is pumping in their head that this man is this, that, and the third, and it's like, bro.
Mark Hamill just put up a post on social media with Donald Trump lying in a grave. I say federal investigators need to go after him.
Where y'all been at? Y'all been living under a rock? Like, this been going on.
It definitely has been going on, but we can't sit here and act like he hasn't implemented policies that have made things extremely worse, bro.
No, not it actually there, bro.
Like, we have no business. We have no business being in a war in Iran.
Yeah, we do. You fool. Go back to talking about Hollywood Dish. You fool.
We ain't had no business being in a war in Iraq.
That is a fact too. But we're acting like people weren't radicalized to do things.
Let's check traffic and weather together on the 8th.
To Bush too. Like, assassination attempts against presidents isn't anything new.
That's moral relativity. That's a sign of an ignoramus and a weak mind.
They was trying to kill Bush? I remember somebody throwing a shoe at him. I don't remember nobody shooting his ear off.
Yeah, this guy's more informed than Charlemagne. Oh, my God.
Bro, I mean, no. I mean, he didn't get shot or anything like that. But, yes, these presidents been having assassination attempts. Barack Obama had 13.
I remember somebody throwing a shoe. I don't remember nobody trying to shoot his ear off.
Listen, the times are different.
Like, I don't think.
Oh, my God. Stick to in your lane. Charlemagne, oh my God, you got a great set, you got a great following, you think you're all that, but honestly, stick to the lighthearted idiocy of morning radio and stay out of politics, because you just made a fool out of yourself. Let's take a break and come back. This is the Rob Carson Show. Hey guys, it's Carson. If you are on Medicare or about to be, you could be overpaying right now and never know it. Here's why. Millions of seniors are in a plan that doesn't fit their needs. Because Medicare is complicated, many brokers just steer people into plans that pay them the most. That's absurd. That is so absurd, I decided to write a little slogan for it. Medicare sure ain't fair, and choosing a plan is a bear. Pick a plan with a broker if you dare, and you might end up with a scare. Okay, listen, it's a little rough. You need to know about Chapter. They're the only national advisor that looks at every plan in the country, matches your doctors, your prescriptions, and your situation to a plan that fits your needs. With Chapter, you'll see what a plan actually costs when you need it, not just the $0 some plans advertise. Your doctors are covered and your prescriptions are too. You'll have confidence you have the coverage you need. A call with Chapter is free, takes about 20 minutes. If you're turning 65 or already on Medicare, call 27-MEDICARE. Again, that's 27-MEDICARE. Call 27-MEDICARE today.
Deported. Deported. Deported.
Get him out. Ready? Are you ready? Get him out of here. Get him out of here.
Boom, boom. Boom, boom.
Would I launch strikes in Mexico to stop drugs? It's okay with me. Boom, 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 boom. Bang, 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 bang. Boom, 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 boom. How, 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 how.
There you go. There's John Lee Hooker redone by Big Head Todd and the Monsters, and this is Janine Pirro.
What I can tell you is that he hated the President of the United States. He hated the administration, and, you know, whatever that motivation...
She's talking about the White House Correspondents' Dinner attempted assassination, and then Charlemagne the God says, oh, yeah, the president's always going to attempt assassination.
And might be, the truth is his intent is the only issue that I'm concerned about, not the motivation so much. But what we're seeing more and more of, Griff, is the fact that people are coming to the nation's capital with the intent to commit political violence. We saw it with the assault on the shooting at the Secret Service agent on the National Mall near the Washington Monument on Monday, and we will continue to see it. People, for some reason, think they can come here and that they can commit these acts that they'll get attention for to exercise their right to complain about what they...
No, it's stochastic terror. It's taken 9 years of Democrats demonizing Donald Trump and his followers to cause all of this. All of this has been going on for years. All of the deaths and all of the destruction. FAA employee arrested after threatening to assassinate President Trump faces up to 5 years in prison. Will not be returning to the control tower. FAA based in New Hampshire stands accused of threatening to take out President Trump days after the last assassination attempt, but may not go to jail for too long if convicted. 35-year-old Dean Del Shai of Nashua charged him with communicating interstate threat. Comes 2 weeks after the lunatic tried to take out Trump and members of administration of the White House. We are all Secret Service agents now. We are all. ABC reports the Secret Service met with Deshail in February. He admitted to making the threats, told officers he was depressed in therapy, regularly drank, and used marijuana and other drugs. Well, I've done that, but I've never threatened the president. Let's see. Depressed, therapy, drank, marijuana, no other drugs. No, I didn't do marijuana very lightly. Just I never liked it. Don't like inhaling stuff. Yet he remained a free man, not surprising. Then things escalated. He used his personal email to transmit a threat across state lines to the White House email address, prosecutors said, and now he faces up to 5 years in prison, $250,000 fine, and he will never work the FAA again. There you go. That's the way it should be. You know, I had to play a little bit of this gubernatorial debate and it looks like Steve Hilton is just kicking butt. It was interesting. The Democrats have not learned a damn thing, and I think they're really beyond shooting themselves in the foot. They're taking a chainsaw and hacking their foot off with the chainsaw because they are so devoted to this, I don't know, this insane philosophy. They still think, I guess, that they can lie their way out of its absolute lack of success. It's in the face of its absolute failure of all of the policies. Here are the Democrats being asked about Gavin Newsom, who has done a terrible job. I mean, the worst governor in American history. There's no doubt as far as fraud is concerned, as far as just ruining everything. There's outbound migration the last 6 years. Number one, leaving Eden. They made Eden into a crap hole. And yet they think he's done a great job. It's glorious they're saying this because it's patently obvious everybody who lives in California knows that's not the case.
One word to describe Governor Newsom's performance as governor.
Performative.
Bold.
Progressive. Game-changing.
Incomplete.
Performative? Are you talking about his facial expressions when he uses jazz hands? Jazz hands! Really?
He's right. Newsom definitely can't finish anything, especially that $230 billion train to nowhere.
Oh, yeah.
But Gavin's
It was only going to cost $30 billion.
They want another round.
It's now 2026. It's not even close to being done. And the estimated cost has ballooned to $230 billion.
Yeah.
Mayor, your opponent, Steve Hilton, says that on his first day in office, he would kill this project, quote, stone dead. Would you?
No.
Yeah, unbelievable. They don't get it. I love it, and I love it, and I want to thank God that this is happening, that they are this clueless. The awful Katie Porter, who I call Mrs. Potato Head, she will never be the governor of California. She's an absolutely despicable, unlikable, unkind person. Whoopi Goldberg on The View. I don't play any more View audio, by the way, because I can't stand them anymore. She said that, I don't know, she was yelling at her hired help that one day on that video show, but I yell at people. It's kind of like saying, I beat my servants, and then she does too. Sometimes you got to beat the servants. You got to beat the servants. Here's Katie Porter.
Will F. Trump be your guiding principle in dealing with the president?
If he's going to attack California, yeah, F him.
It's not Donald Trump who's given us gas prices $2 higher than the rest of the country. It's Democrat policies.
Yeah, 100%. Here's a little bit more of the awful Mrs. Potato Head, Katie Porter, who will never be the governor of California.
Congresswoman Porter, your thoughts on the idea of funding health care for undocumented immigrants statewide?
Yes.
Yes. And
that's, by the way, what I think Californians deserve.
No.
These are Californians. They contribute to our economy. They pay taxes, and they're one of the only ways that our state has been growing in recent years. I can't believe that on a...
Yeah, because all the really successful people are leaving, so you're stuck with immigrants who are on government largesse and all sorts of welfare. Yeah, there you go.
Stage with 30 minutes of interrupting and bickering and name-calling and shouting and disrespect for everyone up here who's stepping into public...
I'll bet your husband was glad to have scalding potato water thrown on him. I got to go to the hospital. I don't have to listen to this anymore.
Service.
Oh, my God.
That anyone...
Thank you.
Wants to talk about my temperament.
You were actually interrupting them too. I don't know why you want to act like you weren't.
Congresswoman Porter, first off, do you want to respond to that from Sheriff Bianco?
Yes, I did not interrupt. I did not go back.
Yeah, I think I'm kind of done with her. On the way, Republican analyst, founder of JLK Political Strategies, Jimmy Keady joins us next. Don't go anywhere. My entire life, my betting has just been betting. I got the least expensive stuff I could find. Have you noticed your sheets slipping off the corners lately? Maybe your pillows just don't feel supportive anymore. Most people actually keep their bedding way longer than they should. It slowly wears down and you don't realize how much it's affecting your sleep. That's why I upgraded to Boll & Branch. They make everything your bed needs. Their signature organic cotton sheets, pillows, blankets, and comforters are all designed to be breathable, incredibly soft, and get better over time. Most people start out with their signature sheets. I added the waffle blanket, and now the whole bed just feels amazing. The moment you get Boll and Branch is the moment you discover the difference. Upgrade your sleep with Boll and Branch. Get 15% off your first order plus free shipping at bollandbranch.com. That's BOLL and branch.com/Rob Carson. Promo code Rob Carson. That's Boll and Branch, BOLLAND branch.com/Rob Carson. Code Rob Carson to unlock 15% off. Exclusions apply. Hey guys, it's Rob Carson for Relief Factor. There's a reason why at my age I can still crush it at the gym, carry an armchair by myself, or do any home improvement project without pain during or after, and that's Relief Factor. When it comes to supplements, the two things that matter most, it works and you trust it. Relief Factor was created by a combat-wounded Vietnam veteran. He decided to become a doctor simply to help people, to heal them. If pain is holding you back, find out why so many people, including me, make Relief Factor a part of their daily routine. Try the 3-week quick start today. Go to relieffactor.com. That's relieffactor.com. Or call 800-4RELIEF. That's 800-4RELIEF for Relief Factor. Hey guys, it's Carson for Ghost Bed. I am sleeping better than I've ever slept in my entire life. I used to think a mattress was just furniture, but I got a Ghost Bed. Ghost Bed doesn't build mattresses like furniture. They build engineered sleep systems. Their beds are serious health equipment. Beds designed for relief and recovery, not looks. Your body should be healing while you sleep, not fighting for comfort. I noticed immediately. My first night on a Ghost Bed, I slept for 10 hours. If you're waking up stiff, tossing and turning, sleeping hot, even reaching for a pain reliever before bed, hoping tonight will be different, that's not aging. That's your mattress talking. Here's another thing I love about Ghost Bed. You get 101 nights to try it at home. If you don't like the difference, just send it back risk-free. Ghost Bed is currently having their Memorial Day sale plus an extra 10% off for my audience. Go to ghostbed.com/Carson and use promo code Carson. Ghostbed.com/Carson. Promo code Carson for the sleep of a lifetime.
Dustin Grove in the WTHR newsroom on what has become a historic election night here in Indiana, a primary election. One of the big headlines we're following is the growing number of state senators who have lost their seats tonight. President Trump went after a number of state senators who voted against his redistricting plan, and it appears to have worked. Take a look at this. So far, State Senate District 1, the incumbent, Dan Durnall, knocked off tonight by Trump-endorsed challenger Trevor DeVries. Over here, incumbent Linda Rogers lost her seat tonight to challenger Brian Schmutzler up in District.
It was a bloodbath. That's all you need to know. It was a bloodbath. There you go. In a nutshell. Joining us on the Newsmax hotline, Jimmy Keady, Republican strategist, founder of JLK Political Strategies, also was a consultant for the Michelle Davis campaign in Indiana. Joins us on the Newsmax hotline. How are you, sir?
I'm doing great. How are you doing today, sir?
Bro, what a week, huh? What a week. I mean, did you have any indication it would be this big in Indiana on Tuesday?
Well, I think in state they totally misread what the voters wanted.
Yeah.
Most of the incumbents that were taken out were soft Republicans at best. And ultimately, the Trump White House and Trump himself, the president, put in a lot of effort to making sure these candidates finish. And frankly, in Michelle Davis's race, who is one of the most conservative members of the Indiana House, had the record to back it. The interesting thing about Michelle Davis's race, Mike Pence's home county was one of the counties she was running in, and she won it. So, I mean, it's just kind of a referendum on where we are at from the party, and voters are ultimately tired of not having their electeds work for them. And I think that you saw this backlash on Tuesday.
Well, 100%.
For sure.
100%. And we've seen this happen too many times when rhinos get into office and they become complacent or whatever. They feel like they're in office so they can forget the will of the people. We've seen this the last 50 years of our lives. Maybe not your life, you're younger than I am. But Donald Trump is the first president who has done what we asked him to do. When he was first president, that's why it took away from his first presidency. He was the first president that we had seen and elected who did what we asked him to do when he got into the presidency, and he did it to the letter. And he's put the pedal to the metal on this. And I think people going down to the state level are tired of these Republicans, these John Thune-esque Republicans, and they were given a little what for on Tuesday.
Yeah, it is so frustrating. I mean, you and I are both in the great Commonwealth of Virginia to watch what has happened here with redistricting and not get frustrated that the Indiana legislature had complete control of, basically Republicans have control of all branches, and yet we couldn't get a deal down to make sure that there's equal representation in the state, a state that overwhelmingly votes for Trump, a legislator that is now definitely overwhelming conservative after last week's elections. I think it's frustrating to watch, and ultimately the president has set the stage to make sure that other states now fall in line to make sure that we are having the representation that we need in Congress, and particularly representation in these deep red states that shouldn't have it. I mean, the left constantly stacks liberal seats in liberal states. We just need to play the same game, and Trump is delivering on that.
Well, the Democrat Party in the state of Virginia, overplayed their hand more than I've ever seen a party do. Even when Barack Obama first became president, this party thought they had this unbelievable mandate because of Fairfax County and Loudoun County, and they marched in and started doing a bunch of nonsense. This redistricting, which, by the way, Scam Burglar was, I don't know, we got a little feedback here on the phone. Scam Burglar was warned. They said, this is not gonna work because you've got to allow so many election cycles before you attempt to do something like this. And it looks like it's been overturned or going to be overturned. And I'm getting the feeling that she's going to be a lame duck if she isn't one already. What do you think?
Yeah, I think that the Democrats, did not think this through. And
imagine
at the end of the day, right. And I think if anything good out of Indiana, came in about, I mean, a lot of things. You had true conservatives that went in and won these seats to give representation, but I also think it shows just how tired the party is of playing games, because the Democrats don't play by the same rules as they do, right?
Boom.
And it's time we start doing the things we need to do in Indiana to make sure that we're taking back the country on the Republican side. So,
I think what you're trying to say is that the party needs to grow a pair.
You said it, not me.
I'm not afraid to say it. I want you to listen to Scott Jennings after Tuesday.
He calls the shots in the Republican Party, and if you go against that, he will pour his wrath out upon you, and it doesn't typically turn out well. As Harry Enton has said before, go against Trump in a primary, and you wind up in the grinder, and that's what happened in Indiana. To me, what I was looking for tonight was the forward-looking lessons here For instance, what's going to happen in Kentucky in a couple of weeks in that 4th congressional district where Thomas Massie is the one congressional Republican who has been the biggest thorn in Donald Trump's side. They have poured millions into that race, and a lot of people are wondering, could he withstand a challenge?
Oh, I would love to see Massie get his assy kicked. What do you think? What do you think's going to happen?
If there's one thing that you can see from Indiana's on a primary night is that Donald Trump not only, really has a hold on the Republican Party, but people want him to finish what he's done.
Boom.
And I think that is, the media keeps saying that this is some type of wrath or some type of revenge tour, but really, the president promised this to happen. He needed it to happen. The legislators didn't do it, so he made it happen. And that's who Donald Trump is, and that's why people. That's why he's got overwhelmingly popularity, particularly in the Republican Party.
You would think that the media, after 10 years of being wrong about everything, they would learn their lesson. They are floating this idea, and they have been for many months now, that MAGA support is slipping. Which, I'm sorry. I mean, it's ridiculous. We've been in battle for 10 years. We are battle-hardened soldiers. We are not leaving the fight in year number 10. Here's Harry Inton.
That the president still has juice, still has a lot of influence, at least in Indiana.
Yeah.
So,
as Indiana goes, so goes the nation when it comes to Republican voters and Donald John Trump. He absolutely still has the juice. And when you're a Republican and you go against Trump, you get voted off the island. I always love Survivor. And in this particular case, what we saw in Indiana was you go, adios, amigos, goodbye, see you later. And to me, that is emblematic of what we see nationwide with Republicans. I think there's this myth.
Yeah, by the way, he's lost no support since his first term. It was 85% in the first term, 84%, looking at the margin of error. It has not changed one little bit. Nobody's leaving Donald Trump. We've been in this battle too long. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, just look back at the Indiana primary elections. I mean, you look at Michelle Davis; she took out a 20-year incumbent. In an area, where Mike Pence, basically represented and beat him by 20 points. To do that to any incumbent is amazing, and you saw that as the story in Indiana this week. And I think it just shows that sure, Trump's going to put resources behind where he wants to win, but also people really want representation. They're tired of it.
1,000%.
As he continues to deliver America First policy, these things are going to continue to happen. It's the media is always missing the forest from the trees on this stuff.
Now, I want to continue the conversation, Jimmy, on the other side of the break, a little bit more on this Michelle Davis race that you were involved in, because it is fascinating. And then also just what's going on in California, what's going on in L.A., gubernatorial versus mayoral. If you could stick around for the break, that would be great. The Jimmy Keedy, Keady, on Twitter. Let's take a break and come back. This is The Rob Carson Show. It is the Rob Carson Show. Continuing our conversation with Republican strategist, or I should say analyst, founder of JLK Political Strategies, Jimmy Keady, who lives in the state of Virginia, where the Democrat Party thought it would be a good idea to take away representation from the populace in the place that was a colony before America was founded that started the Revolutionary War because of taxation without representation. Not the smartest move in the world, and it's kind of done a faceplant. We were going back to this race, Michelle Davis race that you were a part of. She had a 20-point victory over this guy, Davis Walker, and after the race, he was didn't he say something like it's unchristian-like to? So I don't know what exactly he said after. He's a little sour grapes the day after. Now he says he has no regrets. What is your response to him, and what did he say? How did he react to getting his teeth kicked in?
Yeah,
Greg
look,
Walker.
In these types of wins, there's a lot of emotion that run high. At the end of the day, you can't look at this and think that it's overwhelming victory. Winning any type of incumbent race is always against incumbent is always extremely difficult.
Yeah.
I mean, you're looking from an early voting perspective. Her absolutely dominating across the board when it came to not only AB but also early voting. One of the things that we saw in these races across the board is that Trump has been able to get his people out.
Yes.
And conservatives are coming out. And some of the issues that we deal here with early voting and absentee ballot here in Virginia, where we have a 45-day window, in states like Indiana, it doesn't happen. So, really it day vote is where you win or lose these races, and she dominated that vote for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a master class in the state of Indiana, and I believe I think that we are seeing shades of what drove us in 2024, and I think we also have on our side that the Democrat Party hasn't learned any lessons from it. What do you think?
Yeah, for sure, and I think one of the things that you saw across the board in every race is that senators who've been there forever, who became too comfortable and kind of, became part of the Indianapolis swamp, so to speak, voting for things that Republican voters don't want, red flag laws, right? Men and women's sports.
Yes.
These are not Republican issues. And I think there's a broader problem where when you're seeing this pushback, politicians in generals and electeds in generals have to be aware, just because they've been there for 20 years, doesn't mean they can vote with the Democrats.
Exactly.
And I think that was very clear.
Yeah,
right?
When you look at what's going on with what's happening in the state of California, let me play first of all a Democrat debate the other night for gubernatorial, and the Democrats are still down with the transgender nonsense.
Under the California Education Code, you perform in an athletic event K through 12 based on your identification by gender. Would you change that law to match the IOC that you identify based on your birth at gender? Yes or no? Very quickly, we have 30 seconds left. Mr. Mahan?
Sorry, change which law? State law?
The current law says you identify, and that's how you participate.
Yeah, but at higher levels, I would let the leagues decide.
Yeah, okay, Mr. Becerra?
Enforce the law.
Okay, Mr. Steyer?
Allow trans athletes to participate.
Mr. Hilton?
I have a wristband that says Save Girl Sports, and I will.
Bianco, Katie Porter.
Yes, enforce the existing law.
That wraps it up.
They've learned nothing. That's a blessing, Jimmy.
Right.
It's a blessing.
Right. Well, one of the great things about kind of the Republican Party and Trump right now is that we are embracing issues that that are 80-20 issues.
Yeah.
And the Democrats continue to pick these issues that don't impact, everyday life or that are incredibly extreme. And as one of the things the president has done really well is figuring out those issues and where people are and really making them own it. The fact that they lost the way that they did with Harris and they're still running this type of talking point is just really unbelievable to watch.
Let's move to the phenomenon of Spencer Pratt. This guy gets... I want to play a little bit of Spencer Pratt from the debate the other night.
Downtown is so unsafe now that they have to
serve the food. All the employees have to eat inside. They can't risk going out. That's why all these beautiful restaurants are closing, because it's so unsafe. So before we require city workers to go back into any buildings, we need to enforce the laws on the street. Councilwoman Raman is talking about safety, yet when animal rescue activist Rebecca...
He said to her, he said, let's go down to where these homeless drug addicts are and see how they feel about your recovery efforts. He said, you'd get stabbed in the neck. That's what he said to her.
I will tell you, his campaign and the videos they're putting out on social, are just a masterclass in understanding how people are feeling. I mean, again, you've got the majority of people, in LA still haven't recovered from, devastating fires that the state of California regulated basically into existence. And, the Democrats are still trying to make this about, about people and about voters who, just aren't in the main line of where people are. People care.
You know why I know they're desperate? You know why I know the Democrats think they're going to get beaten? Because they wanted illegals to vote in the LA election.
Yeah.
That's it. They know they're going to get their butts kicked.
And look, I mean, you're talking about that area where you have $1 million houses and all these things where people have spent a lot of money and they're burnt to the ground and they still haven't fixed it. And that's, that's local government. That should be directly impacted.
And state government.
People are tired of it.
And state government. Yeah, absolutely. Jimmy, we got to run, man. I do appreciate you. Congratulations on working with Michelle's campaign in Indiana. That was a masterclass, and I just have a feeling we're in a second revolution here, and I think a lot of Democrats are going to leave the Democrat Party because of it, and eventually we'll come together as a country. Appreciate you so much. Again, JLK Political Strategies, the Jimmy Keedy on Twitter. Anywhere else people can find your work, sir?
That's where to go. Thank you so much. It's always a pleasure to talk with you.
All right, brother. We'll talk soon. Let's take a break and come back. This is the Rob Carson Show. What are we going to do here? I'm going to play a song here. Hello. How are you? Good to have you here. Hello to Proud to be a Jew. How are you? Hello, Tom K. What up? How's everything? Lowered trucks look cool. Lowered trucks look cool, but you could get hung up on a dime. I mean, literally on a dime on the pavement. Lowered trucks, I don't know. I was at the Smithsonian American History Museum the other day. They had a display on lowriders. I mean, they had two of them. It wasn't much. It wasn't much of a car show. Those are dope. Those are, crazy. But I don't know. I've never been on lowered trucks. I like a 1949 Mercury lowered or an Impala lowered. All of that. That's what I like. Not a pickup truck. Not a Chevy S10 or whatever. I drove on in an old Chevy pickup with the 3 on the tree. That's how I learned. Oh, I gotta talk about this next. I've got something like here to talk about. Platter. How much time we got? 5 minutes. All right, hold on. I'm sorry. I get distracted here. Here we go. Hello, Twitter. Scott Davies. Crazy Ellie, whatever the hell your name was, I banned them today. This fool was on there saying, your ratings are terrible. And so I said, okay, well, how am I doing 12 plus and 2554? What's my TSL, by the way? No clue. So I said, you're banned. Bye.
Get 3.5 here.
Have you noticed Graham Plattner is not doing any media appearances and nobody's talking about him? They're doing an Eric Swalwell on him. We'll get to that in one moment here. With supply constraints on commodities, prices surge. You've seen it with fuel prices, the Straits of Hormuz. It happens when, there's a freeze in the Florida orange groves. Price of orange juice goes up. That didn't happen in a while. Global warming, Gold is a limited commodity. Once you mine it, it's out, and people buy it, and then, well, there you don't got any. You got to wait till they mine some more, and you can't print it. If you've been thinking about buying for gold but never have, move some of your physical savings into gold. Now through May 29th, Birch Gold, giving you first-time gold buyers a rebate up to $10,000 on qualifying purchases. You get free information on diversifying into gold. They'll educate you if you're a Democrat. They'll educate you if you're not. And all you got to do is text my name, Rob, to 989898. It's that simple. Rob to 989898. Have you ever bought gold? First time? That's all right. We'll be gentle. Text Rob to 989898 to see if you qualify for the first-time gold buyer rebate up to $10,000. It ends May 29th, and it's already the 7th. So get on it. Graham Plattner, this is kind of interesting, because I was looking at the Twitter, and there was a story up there about Graham Plattner, and right underneath it, and I never see this on Twitter, it had a truth about Graham Plattner, and it said Graham Plattner had a tattoo of the German Totenkopf, not merely resembling the Totenkopf. The Totenkopf is a German symbol with a long history preceding Nazism, but is today strongly associated with the Nazi SS due to its inclusion in their uniforms and symbols. That was on Twitter. That was on Twitter underneath to give you some sort of context for the tattoo. Yeah. Totenkopf, German for death's head or skull, typically refers to the skull and crossbones image. During the Nazi era, Hitler's Schutzwaffe adopted one particular Totenkopf image as a symbol. Among the other uses, it became the symbol of the SS, Totenkopfverband, the SS, blah, 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 blah. They guarded the concentration camps. So, Democrats are realizing they have screwed the pooch by backing this guy. Nobody's talking about him. Nobody was talking about him last week. I think he's perfectly fine. Chris Von Hollen is not saying, oh, no, he's perfectly fine. They are ghosting him. They are ghosting him. Will they do an Eric Swalwell? Will they find something in his background that is unsavory? It's going to be hard because the main candidate just dropped out. The female candidate dropped out of the race, leaving the Democrat Party with this jerk. Yeah. If I were him, I'd be on political suicide watch because the Democrat Party might just try to get rid of him. They got rid of Eric Swalwell in California. They pulled the trigger on him. And I've heard there's even more dirt on this guy. According to Larry O'Connor, friend of mine in Washington, D.C. radio, he says they got more on Graham Plattner. That's why they're being so quiet about him. Yeah. All right, it's time for me to go. Tomorrow, by the grace of God, is finally Friday. Have a glorious day. God bless you. America's founded Donald Trump. He's doing a great job. Our military that is totally annihilated Iran's military. And until tomorrow, do not catch the stupid. I'll see you then.
All right, Rob, Ken said...
Information. Truth. Is freedom. Is Newsmax. It's real news for real people.